sleepless nights? Don't. Count on DuPont Counseling Group at Jewish Family and Community Services instead. Our professional counselors can assist with everything from depression to relationships to children's issues. Trust DuPont Counseling Group to help you navigate life's challenges better. Jewish Family and Community Services. Here for mental health. Here for Jags. Learn more at hereforjags.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
On ESPN Radio, presented by Indeed.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Eagles not ready to commit to Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback just yet. Today, GM Howie Roseman and Coach Nick Sirianni insisted there will be a competition. Joe Flacco, the only other QB on the roster currently. Eagles picked 12th in the draft. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow feeling optimistic he'll be ready for the regular season opener. Told the Chris Collinsworth podcast featuring Richard Sherman he's ahead of schedule following reconstructive knee surgery. The priority for Cincinnati must be protecting Burrow, advises ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
If the Cincinnati Bengals don't draft an offensive tackle, they should be disbanded and revoked from the NFL. Last year, this is remarkable, guys, Joe Burrow threw the ball 450 times in 10 games. Unacceptable. They cannot go out on the field this year unless they draft an offensive tackle, Penei Sewell, with the 5th pick. They got to keep this guy upright and healthy.
Mike Tannenbaum on Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. Receiver Antonio Brown reached a settlement in a civil dispute with a former trainer. The woman accused him of sexually assaulting her in a lawsuit filed in 2019.
It's time for some Straight Talk. Cutting your wireless bill in half feels good. Home run in the ninth good. Straight Talk offers 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys on America's best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
What is up, Jacksonville? Urban Meyer talks again. Trent Baalke has a little pre-draft discussion.
Yeah.
This is such a fun time of year.
Yeah.
Just got out about an hour and a half meeting for
How's
the
that?
draft.
How was that?
Shaping the day.
Cool.
It's our own little war room.
I like it.
We've already picked Trevor.
As you should. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I love this part. I'm getting excited. Like I got the little got a little rush just thinking of it.
Okay.
That day, it's going to be so much fun. This place is going to be energized. Heck, where we work is energized. The city's going to be energized. The building downtown is going to be energized. Cleveland's going to be jumping, of course, because that's where the draft is. Man, I love it. I think this is the fun of it. And we've never had this kind of fun. We had a lot of fun in Jacksonville. I know a lot of people say lean years and all this stuff. There have been a lot of fun moments. I've been here for one winning season, and I've been here for 13 years, and there's still been a lot of fun moments.
Absolutely.
But this moment, again, is coming up, and just to hear Urban Meyer talk about it and hear Trent Baalke some more. I sat down with him yesterday, and then today he was on with the media, and just start shaping that night is a lot of fun. And then what's wild to me to think of, okay, you go Thursday, you go this whole, since what, December of hope, and like, wow, look at this. Jags got the number 1 pick, never had it. Wow, look at this, Trevor Lawrence. Holy cow, we're so lucky Trevor Lawrence is available when they have the number 1 pick. But then when Thursday comes and it's over, Or let's go to Sunday or Monday instead, because there'll still be a kind of a euphoria, and you get to meet Trevor Lawrence, and he'll come meet the media, and then you got these other picks that make it interesting. But when Sunday and Monday come, it's like, does that hope stop? And then it's like, man, now I hope it's real. Now let's go make it actionable, right? Now let's put the hope into action.
Yeah.
And I understand they're not playing a game on Monday and they're practicing the Monday after the draft. But you know what I mean? I just wonder how the mindset will change. Will the euphoria change at all in Jacksonville after the pick?
You're talking about the mindset of the fan base?
Yeah.
No,
or the feeling, the buzz in town,
I think there's going to be a buzz up until the first preseason game, maybe even game number 1 of the regular season. I think that sometimes, when you see that starting rookie quarterback in the first preseason game, there's so much pressure and there's so much hype around him that, sometimes maybe he comes out, he does okay, right? And then people are off that bandwagon. I don't think Jaguars fans are going to be like that. I think Jaguars fans understand what they have right now with Trevor Lawrence. And I think that hope will be carried on through the preseason regardless of what the product looks like on the field. And then I think game 1 is when that hope hopefully becomes a reality. And you're talking about a guy who's going to turn a franchise around.
Interesting. Yeah.
And obviously, I say one guy, but I said the entire team and the coaching staff as well can turn this franchise around.
So that's good. That's good take on it. So because I don't have a great feel for that. I don't know where the hope kind of changes to something else, whatever that something else is. And you might be exactly right. It might be that first game. It might keep building. Maybe he gets off to a good start, first impression. I just don't know. I don't know where that is.
To me, the only way that you're going to lose the hope and the energy and the hype is if you go, you start the season 0-5.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here we are again.
So you kind of think like this euphoria over Trevor, the honeymoon period of Trevor anyway as a first round, a lot of this buzz, almost given a disaster of a performance in his rookie season, will almost carry through.
It has to
through the rookie season.
It absolutely. Well, it'll carry through at least the first game. Then we'll see how the first game goes from there. But we're not excited because of Trevor's personality, even though I think it's great and it's unique. We're all excited because the quarterback that's going to be playing on the field has talent, possibly talent that the likes of Jacksonville never seen before. So until we see that talent in live reps on full display, all we have to go off of right now is hype. And that's all good. That's the way it should be. But when we're in game 1, game 2, game 3, and we start to see a little bit of an inkling, now we're not going to get a full sample, obviously, but we start to see a resemblance of what kind of quarterback this guy's going to be, what kind of team Urban Meyer is coaching, then you start to make a prediction. You start to, kind of think about what this team is going to be going forward.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, and now that you're saying it and I'm kind of thinking about it, you go from hope being the first pick to the hope of being the first practice, then the hope being the first game, the hope being the first touchdown, the hope being the first win. There's a lot of hope along the way when you got a guy like this. And again, it's more than him, but we know that that's the underbelly of it all. And Urban Meyer is a big part of it too. Urban Meyer has said it again today. I can't stop. I apologize for tweeting this every time. But
What'd you say?
I just said, here he goes again. He's being transparent again, man.
Yeah.
Listen, he says, you're going to hear from Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I was listening to it. Yeah.
I was kind of in a meeting, so I didn't do a good job of prepping Casey. But Urban said, early on in this news conference today, he said, this is my first rodeo. Coaches want to draft for need. Coaches want need. I've had to learn about value. He admits. He shows a vulnerability about the whole process. Well, first of all, we know we're all have an ego.
Sure.
I know everything. I'm okay. I can do this. Don't worry about me. Yet you've got Urban saying, hey, this is a learning process a little bit. It's a little different to me. From free agency where he said, I don't like the way this is done. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to just conform to the NFL way and this is the way it should be done. I don't agree with that. I think you should be able to meet these guys, introduce yourself to these guys, not just throw a boatload of money at them. So from that to today where he said, listen, coaches want need. I need this player. I need this position. I feel void at this position. I can be better if you give me that player. Whereas the value of the draft is going to be something that will tug back and forth at Urban. And I think it's even more fascinating because we all believe, perception-wise, that Urban Meyer's pushing every button in that building. Yet it really feels like he's going to lean on the expertise, the experience of Trent Baalke here. Now, they're all making the decision together. But to at least maybe push against that temptation of Urban to go after the need player, he's going to at least have his ears wide open, listening to Bulky about, wait a minute now, Herbs, there's some value in this guy. Let me show you. Here's the value. I just thought that was really, that part of it, that was really the one thing that's why I tweeted. When you have a head coach, it's new to the NFL, and he's willing to show some vulnerability, I think there's an admirable nature to that. It's almost making, I think, a likable nature out of Urban Meyer, who, let's be honest, has not always been the most likable figure as a head coach.
So watching that press conference today, I took away one giant thing from Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke. There is a giant fundamental difference on how these guys go about building a roster for a football team. If we look back at Trent Baalke's record and what he's done at the GM, in San Fran, he was known for taking a lot of guys that had knee injuries. Now, why? Because a lot of teams would pass them up, they would fall, and that would be a value pick. If you bring a guy in with a knee injury right away, odds are he's not going to play from the get-go, right? Those guys can contribute a year or 2 years down the line, and you get great value in them. Listening to Urban Meyer today, it's obvious. He wants to win right now. He does not want to slow play this thing. He doesn't want to long play this thing. He wants to come in 2021 and make a statement and win football games. And listening to Trent Baalke, who's, I think the adjective that would describe his whole philosophy is value. There's a fine line between value and win. And I think right now, and I'm not sure who's calling the shots. I think how this draft pans out after Trevor Lawrence will determine who's calling these shots or not, or at least who's in charge of everything. But I find it very interesting that there's kind of a back and forth, at least from what I saw, in terms of the energy that I saw on the video, where Urban seems like he wants to win right now, as he should. And I think Baalke wants to win right now as well. But I feel like Baalke is more of the guy that wants to slow play this thing and say, hey, calm down. We're not going to win a Super Bowl in 1 year. We got to build this thing for the future.
Well, it is interesting to me when you say it something like that, because the slow play way of going is almost the same. And I don't take this as a criticism of Trent, but it's kind of like a job security measure of NFL folks. It's like, hey, if we wait a little bit longer to build this thing and tell people that the window's a little wide open, and it's going to take a bit to get better from 1-15, oh, it's a good chance I keep my job longer, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you got the mentality of Urban, it's like, we're going to win now. And we're not, like you're saying, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to go win round because that's all I know. That's all we're doing. And again, I'm not even saying Trent Baalke's doing that, but I think it's a little bit NFL guy potentially versus college guy of, we're not sitting around waiting for anything. We're going to get at it, going to get after it. I think it's a little bit more maybe personnel guy versus coach guy, too. It might not be NFL versus college, but
no, I don't think it's that.
Coach always knows he's on the clock, right?
I think it's a combination of looking at last year's results, seeing the roster right now, and what Urban Meyer brings as a mentality as a head coach now. Because let's be honest, they go 1-15 last year. Now, they've addressed a lot of needs in free agency. But knowing everything that we know about Urban Meyer right now, obviously this guy's a competitor. And obviously this guy has brought in guys that he trusts to help get his message across. I think Urban Meyer right now thinks, listen, we don't have the best team in the NFL in terms of personnel on paper, but with my coaching philosophy, I can get these guys to where they need to be.
Yeah.
So trust me, let's go after these maybe explosive, these fast guys. Let's win right now because I'm confident in my coaching abilities and I'm confident in who I hired that we can get this job done. And I think Trent Baalke is on the other side saying, Urban, I understand that, but let's keep in mind, this team went 1-15 last year, all right? And there's still a lot of players from last year that are still on this team right now. I know you're a talented coach, but we got to slow play this thing a little bit. So to me, it's like a juxtaposition to say, what are we going to go with? Are we going to go all in right now, win off the get-go, or are we going to slow play this thing a little bit and plan for the future?
By the way, there's a great methodology in business and success and all that says you don't want the guy that's going to think exactly like you. You want the different guy. And so that can create a great checks and balances, a really good chemistry equation, all those things. So it's interesting. I have another thought on what you just said. I almost asked this question today in the news conference. I was kind of driving, so I decided not to, but I had a thought about it. Before we do that, let's listen to the sound that I was referencing. Urban Meyer, where I believe this is a guy that has been so successful. He's coming to the NFL, but I love the fact that he's not coming to the NFL saying, I know more than you. I'm talking inside the building, not to us and me. He's not coming in there saying, I know everything. He's willing to learn, and he knows there's going to be an adjustment time, and he's willing to accept that. He's noted that, and in that sense, I feel like he's shown a little bit of vulnerability. Listen in.
Coach, I find myself always looking at need, and that's where you got to be cautious. You start chasing players instead of the whole idea of value is completely new to me, and that's something that I'm relying on. Joe Cullen and Bevel as coordinators, and Brian Snyder, who have extensive experience in the NFL, and then obviously Trent and his staff.
So there's Urban, and he went on to say even more than that, but it's just for the folks that think this is a national folks thing, and I think it's maybe some of the people that are a little about Urban, even from the Gator days, if there are those people, which I think those people do exist. I think what I've learned, again, I covered Urban. Now, we're not in Gainesville, but we covered those teams. They were very good. I mean, we went to national championship weeks. We covered them as much as we could from Jacksonville, so we were around it. For the folks that think like, the guy never changes, I just don't think you hear that kind of soundbite from Urban Meyer in Gainesville. Now, he had been coaching a little bit. He had some success, all those things, but it was a different time period. But that's been my point all along. It's like, this isn't the same guy. This isn't the same coach. This isn't the same man, whatever it is, however you want to characterize it, as was here in those years that Gator fans remember. Now, I'm not saying he's a totally different guy. I'm just talking people change a little bit. They learn along the way. And this is an Urban that I've just never really heard. But he's been like this since he got to Jacksonville. He's been super transparent. Yeah. He's shown some vulnerabilities. He's not sitting there saying, I know everything, but damn it, we're going to go get it done. Like, he's still that guy. Damn it, we're going to go get it done. Yeah. I really appreciate that about Urban Meyer during these first few months. I don't know if it stays like this, but and what I said in my tweet today is, I appreciate it as a media member, but it's for the fans. Like, for the fans to see some transparency there, for them to even see some vulnerability there, for him to kind of take fans through the process. Hey, man, that's what being a fan's about. That's awesome. That's why there's media availability. You hope people bring that rather than the stand pat answer that you get every draft luncheon,
Well, I think it's Urban Meyer, too, realizing that, the college to pro game, I'm sure he knows this by now, but it's drastically different. And I think at the college level, obviously Urban Meyer was that great motivator, he was that great recruiter, and he was that great culture builder. And I think he knew this before he got to Jacksonville, but now it's just reassuring him to the fact that it takes a lot more than just recruiting, quote-unquote, free agents, building a culture and all this stuff. There's so much more intricacies to the NFL, right? Because now you have salary caps. Now you have essentially players that you can try to mold them, but they're not kids anymore. These are grown men that play the game all for different reasons. So there's a lot more factors that go into place with it. And it takes some time to learn. So I think with Urban Meyer, he's falling back on the guys that he trusts once again, whether it's the coordinators, the position coaches, the GM, whatever the case may be. But he's deferring to these guys because they've been there before. They've seen it. They know the operations in and out. Not to say Urban Meyer's still not the leader, because he's going to be the guy that's going to build this culture, that's going to shape this team in his image. But he can't do it all himself. It would be naive to come in and think, I'm going to turn this whole thing around by myself, and what I say goes. No, you have to humble yourself as well and say, I got some things to learn, and I'm going to learn as the season goes along.
Yeah, and I think I just really appreciate that. But maybe I appreciate it too much. I just think it's really been cool to see. I think this is a head coach right now who's transitioned to the NFL, and as great as a coach as he has been, he's not sitting there pounding his chest, say, I know more than you. Now, quietly, he says, I'm going to go kick your ass. Like, I know he says that. Absolutely. I mean, you better. I want my coach saying that. Yeah. But I just there's really a cool part of Urban that I didn't expect to see. I don't know what I was expecting. I just didn't expect that part so far, and I think it's been cool. One thing that came up, I didn't ask the question. I really did want to. Piggybacking off what he just said, what we just played about need and value. Mm-hmm. I want you to answer this. Okay? You got to put the coaching hat on now.
Okay.
And this is a conversation we've had. It's going to kind of rub into some context that we've had in the past on the show. But I would have liked to ask and know if at 25, if you have a player that you see could really run Darrell Bevel's system, Joe Cullen's system really well, Okay? You think that'd be a nice fit in there.
Mm-hmm.
But you have another player that you valued at like 7 or 8 picks even higher because they're a hell of a football player.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I can make that guy fit anywhere.
Okay.
Where are you going? What are you doing with that kind of dilemma, as Trent Baalke would say?
Yeah, to me, it depends on the position because you can go a million ways with this. It all depends on the position to me.
Okay, well, let's take it to defensive line. Let's go to some of the positions that they could take at 25, 33.
Okay.
Defensive line.
Yes.
You taking a guy that you're like, this guy's a monster.
Yes.
Right?
Sure. So, obviously, are we talking Christian Barmore?
I don't know who I'm talking. Sure.
Okay.
If you want to talk Christian Barmore.
Yeah.
Or are you talking, this guy's not as big as a monster as this guy is, but he's a really good fit what we're going to try to do over the next 2 years?
It's the same position?
Line. Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm taking Barmore all day. I mean, I'm taking, you take the guy up front. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Now, if there's like a giant red flag that turns you off, then possibly you think of the future. But no, like, if there's a clear-cut favorite at defensive tackle, at least from the get-go, yeah, you take him all day.
Okay, so the reason I asked the question is because I feel like, did they do this a little bit with a guy like Chason? Okay.
Yep.
Or with even Taven Bryan, if you go back, where they tried to jockey him around position. And they say, hey, Taven Bryan at 28 at the time, we're like, hey, he's a monster. Like, he's good athletically. Listen, I understand Jacksonville, you're not a big fan of Taven Bryan, but the evaluators are like, this guy's, what an athlete. You know, he's a strong dude, can move, all this stuff.
Sure.
That's why they fell in love with him. But it's like, okay, then they moved him to the outside, and they didn't really utilize the skill set. So where did they see him? Did they just take him because we think he can be a really good football player rather than, well, we would have been better off getting this guy over here. He would have fit into our scheme, our system a lot better. Say the same about a guy like Chason. Again, we've had these discussions. Yeah. Chason, did they go get him because he has the ability to do a lot of different things and could potentially be a star in this league? That's where they see it. But he doesn't fit exactly yet with what we're doing because we're running a 4-3, but we're still going to take him. We're going to find a way to make him great and work.
No, you have to draft, and this is what Joe Cullen alluded to. I think the guys that he brings in are going to fit his defense. Did Taven Bryan have a lot of hype coming out of college? Possibly. But you did him zero favors to put him at a 5 technique, all right, or a big end technique, if you will. To me, that could have crushed his confidence. And maybe he's not the same player now because of that decision right there. K'Lavon Chason is used to playing in a 3-4 outside linebacker spot, standing up, drop back into coverage. You put his hand in the dirt. I think they realize, and if we're talking interior defensive line, it's a little different because I'm not sure. I mean, I think Barmore could do both.
You could be hybrid a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Urban Meyer knows, and if we're talking about the defensive side of the ball, Joe Cullen knows that whoever they bring in, it's not going to be like, all right, we're going to put you in this new spot here. You have to learn on the fly. They're going to feel comfortable day one being asked what they're supposed to do.
Well, I think it's the question why, and again, it probably would have been hard to phrase it and even get fully what I want out of it. But I think you're doing a good job with this. But if you asked me this question 3 years ago, I was like, no, Brent, they're going to take the guy that's kind of fit in there so he can play at his highest levels, right?
Sure.
Well, they didn't. They didn't do that here. They didn't do it with Chason. They didn't do it with Taven Bryan. You know, and then we get all these people that say, hey, go get offensive linemen. Oh, just move him to guard. He's a tackle. Oh, just move him to guard or move him to tackle or move him to center. It's like, well, that's what some guys can and some guys can't.
Yeah.
So is it better to pass on the 20th ranked guy on your board and take the 26th ranked guy because, well, that guy's going to fit and excel in our system more than the other guy that we're going to have to teach how to do our system?
I would have passed on Chason if I'm playing a 4-3 defense. I would have passed on Taven Bryan if I had him playing big end technique. Now, if these guys fit your defense and they fit the mold, then you take them. But if they're exciting, if they're a beast of a player, but you don't see them fitting your mold, well, then no, you can't justify taking those guys.
Did Taven Bryan get a vote of confidence today from Urban Meyer? Did you catch this at all in the news conference today if you were listening? We'll share it with you and find out the answer. Coming up on Action Sports Jax on ESPN690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and warm today, but comfortable humidity. Highs reach the low 80s this afternoon. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday. Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Colhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Colhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Colhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
Oh boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work? No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com.
Boss! Crooks R Us just put out a special bulletin about SafeTouch security.
Special bulletin about SafeTouch? Oh, this is gonna fire up my ulcer, I know it.
Boss, the headline says, SafeTouch Security has announced their new advanced video surveillance system.
Oh, here it comes.
Oof, this is huge. It's a multi-camera interior and exterior professional surveillance system with 24/7 video storage.
Great. Just what we need is SafeTouch up in their game again.
Boss, this is next level. I think Fort Knox would be jealous of this thing.
Deep breaths. They can keep their fancy camera system. It doesn't change the Crooks R Us golden rule one bit. Stay away from SafeTouch houses.
Nope, doesn't change it, but it sure underlines it.
Just get me a glass of milk, will you?
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax on ESPN690. Hope you catch the show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. But if you can't catch it, or if you want to go back and listen again, check out the Action Sports Jax on ESPN690 podcast. Just search ESPN690 in your podcast app.
Austin Lane.
I had braces. I still have my permanent retainer in. It's been knocked out twice.
Brent Martineau.
So it's not stuck in there.
No, it's not stuck in there.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Are you as fired up as I am today?
I don't think anybody. I'll be honest, man. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, man.
Oh, no.
No, man.
Listen, I just got done talking to somebody about sleep. You've convinced me that sleep is important.
No, it is, man. I
try to tell my kids now sleep is important. Miles Jack takes a lot of naps during the day.
Yeah.
What happened? Can you tell us? Can you share?
I mean, like, you know me, like I'm kind of an open book, so I'll just
throw up in the middle of the night.
No, I didn't throw up in the middle of the night, man. I'm just gonna throw it out there because I'm an open book. But
should I tweet this?
You don't have to tweet this, man.
Okay.
It's a little more personal. I'd rather people not know about this. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of dropping some knowledge right now, Brent. A little respect, please.
I'd rather nobody know this, but here we go.
Well, no, because I told you, man, I'm an open book, and that's how the show works. But I really had trouble sleeping last night because. Okay, here we go. The Milwaukee Brewers played the Padres, and Corbin Burns, like, okay, you know how I feel about the Wisconsin athletics, right, in terms of professional sports. I mean, there's so many MVPs in that state, Brent,
yeah,
and it's exhausting. It is. It's exhausting.
Most valuable Wisconsin.
And now we're going to have to add Corbin Burns to the C.Y. Young, the award winner, because this guy is lights out. He's 2-1 right now with a .37 ERA, and I can't sleep with that, man. I just there's only so many MVPs and CY award-winning pitchers that Wisconsin can have, man. And I feel like that state's gonna be busting at the seams, and it's keeping me up at night.
Well, listen, I'm sorry you didn't sleep better.
It's all good, man. I mean, have you seen the splitter that he's throwing these days? It's not even fair.
Where did this guy come from?
He's been around for a little bit, but he's been elevated. Like, he was a reliever for a little while, and now he's been elevated to the starting role.
Casey,
he's been there since 2018.
You play fantasy baseball, Casey. So when you see what happens, I was always a big fan of fantasy baseball.
Sure.
The reason why is, one, you get to know a lot of the different players like around the league. That's one thing fantasy does for everything.
Yeah.
So every sport.
Yeah.
In fact, one time back in Albany, we did fantasy NBA just because we don't feel like we know the league very well.
Sure.
And so we didn't have any reason to know the league. We're up in Albany, freaking New York. All right.
Yeah.
So we did it. And I was like, okay, that didn't really do much for me anyway. Maybe I just didn't want to know the league very well.
Yeah.
But at least at the time, this was back in 2003. But baseball's a great one. Like, my favorite fantasy sport to play is baseball.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's habitual. You get up every day or at night before, you set your lineup. You have to do it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I screw up football all the time because I'm like, oh, crap, it's Sunday and I'm at the stadium and live. I forgot about it. Or it's a Thursday night game and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I love Major League Baseball fantasy draft because or fantasy play, because you'll get to know everybody, all these guys. I have no idea really who this guy is, and I pay attention to some baseball.
Yeah.
But also because you get to set your lineup. So, Casey, with that being said, you play fantasy baseball, but you may just know who this guy is. Give us a little background on Mr. Burns.
So he was a high leverage reliever when they were.
Oh, I love high leverage phrase in baseball.
Yeah,
I don't know that was a thing, but that sounds good.
He was one of those when they were making that playoff push a couple years ago. Last year, same thing. He started a little bit. This year, they didn't expect him to be this good, I don't think.
Preach. No, they didn't.
40 strikeouts in 24 and a third innings. So
are you okay over there? No wonder why you didn't sleep well.
Oh, what? I just blacked out. What was that? What were those numbers again, Casey?
40 strikeouts, 24 in the third inning. So that's most of his outs are strikeouts. He's a fantasy god. He should have went higher in drafts.
Fantasy
and I don't.
God.
He's got a 97-mile-per-hour cutter, Brent. And seriously, if I'm last night I was watching the game. I mean, if I was a Padres batter, I would have just walked up and said, I quit. I quit the sport of baseball. If this is what it's gotten to now with Corbin Burns and this 95% or 95-mile-per-hour cutter, 97, whatever it is, it's not even fair. It's just he's stealing K's.
So is this a little Mariano where he accidentally found this great cutter all of a sudden and now he's had a rebirth of a career? Or is he a young guy that's always had stuff?
No, so I think he's a young guy, but they just slowly brought him along.
Correct.
They didn't think he was going to be this
good, yeah.
But he showed promise early on. He was kind of the setup man for a while with Hader, back in 19 or 18 it would have been. And now he's really established himself in that role. So.
All right. So he's always kind of had the nasty cutter, though.
Yeah.
But now he's doing it from the starting
for whatever
rotation.
reason, I think he's
filthy now.
He's elevated the miles per hour.
The Brewers have no shortage in arms, by the way. Their bullpen is incredible, and now they got him in their rotation.
High leverage is another one of these new phrases, in baseball, but it's a good one. I'm not keen on all the stuff in Major League Baseball that's new, but that makes a lot of sense. To me, that really, the analytics of that make a ton of sense. If you have, let's say it's a 2-1 game, all right, and you're in the bottom of the 8th inning or top of the 8th inning, and you have Judge, Stanton, and whoever the heck hits next in the order for the Yankees.
Luke Voit.
Why wouldn't you bring your closer in for those guys or your best guy in for those guys? Then the ninth inning where you're going to see 5, 6, 7. And you could maybe put your next best guy, or if the guy has a clean inning, then you can keep him out there. But I think it makes sense. So I like high leverage. All right. That was getting us way off topic.
Yeah,
so that's why you didn't sleep well.
That's why I didn't sleep last night.
The family's okay, though.
No, I know,
Made
right?
me nervous for a moment.
Well, no, I'm sorry, man. It's just it's so many MVPs, Brennan. It's so many.
I hear you.
CY Young.
CY Young.
They keep on.
CYO.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Urban Meyer. Do you think this is what I want you to deduct?
Yes.
I felt one name when he talked about this in the context that he did. He was asked about the defensive line. Okay. And he has some really interesting thoughts on the defensive line in general.
Sure.
But he brings up, there's one part of this soundbite that made me think, wow, this is a little bit of a vote of confidence and some faith in Taven Bryan. I want to know if you interpreted it the same way. Here we go.
Yeah.
The edge is a little deeper than the interior, but there are some really quality players inside as well. We addressed some of the needs on the defense line at free agency. That was obviously a high need area for us. We're not done yet, but that's we're actually this afternoon, we're going to finalize. That's one of the final pieces. When Trent said we're finishing the board, that's one of the final pieces we're actually working on. That's how good is your team? How good your D-line? That's the first answer. How good is your team? How good your defensive line? And we have some really solid pieces right now that we even believe will play better as they get a little more mature and we move on and the scheme fits some of our personnel. But that's a great question. And this afternoon, we have to get that answered. It's not completely done yet.
Brent, what are you talking about? Taven Bryan?
You didn't hear that last part?
Doug Costin, Devon Hamilton.
Is that who you think?
Well, because he said they fit this scheme. What has Taven Bryan showed us when he put in the big end technique? How did he do?
But he essentially said, and I'm not telling you it couldn't have been Costin.
I'm just
couldn't have been Devon Hamilton.
Which of these guys have had experience playing a 3-4 defense in a 2 gap? Doug Costin, Devon Hamilton.
So you don't think he was talking about Taven Bryan at all?
No.
Can you cue up the last 12 seconds of that?
Well,
I just want to
go
make
back in. No, but play the whole thing again. Let's hear it.
No, not the whole thing.
Well, okay.
Oh, we don't have to. When you have it ready for the last 12 seconds, I want to hear the last 12, 15 seconds again, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You tell me when. Casey, I'm asking him to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
I bet you just crushed your dreams with Taven Bryan.
Well, you might have, but it wasn't necessary. Don't listen to right before the scheme part.
Okay.
About young guys that have played solid, and we almost like we don't know if we've got as much as we can out of them. That was the part that got. Listen again.
Okay, I'm listening.
And we have some really solid pieces right now that we even believe will play better as they get a little more mature and we move on and the scheme fits some of our personnel. But that's a great question. And this afternoon, we have to get that answered. It's not completely done yet.
Will play better as they mature? To me, that was Taven Bryan. That part was Taven Bryan. The scheme part could have been the Costins and Devon Hamilton. And by the way, I thought Hamilton played pretty well.
Hey, man, how many years does Taven Bryan have to mature? How many years is he in the NFL?
I don't know.
He's 25 years old right now.
I don't know, but they didn't cut him, and they cut Josh Oliver, who we've never seen.
Well, that's okay. So all I'm saying is Taven Bryan's going on his 4th year. Doug Costin, young guy. He's got to be 22, 23?
Well, what's the deal with Costin? Was he somewhere else before? I mean, he came out of nowhere and played pretty good football for him.
Yeah.
Kind of a little diamond in the rough.
He was a rookie last year.
Oh, he was a rookie?
Yeah, he's a rookie.
I didn't know if he had a stop in Denver or something before that. But
yeah. No, you're thinking of Gotsis.
Well, no, it wasn't. I didn't know I know he wasn't that old. I just thought maybe he had a year or two under his belt.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he could be referring to Taven Bryan, but I'm leaning a little more towards Devon Hamilton and possibly Doug Costin.
You might not be wrong. It was the part, again, the scheme part for what you said makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The part where he said maturity, and now that could go to a young guy, but I actually sensed a more experienced beyond the years kind of guy in Devon Hamilton when he played.
Sure.
I didn't really experience this. If you put maturity around Taven Bryan and immaturity, I can buy into that.
Sure.
I would. I'm not trying to kill Taven Bryan here, okay? I'm just saying I could see that, all right, you're not sure you got the best out of this guy yet because of the mental approach to the game, being a pro, all these kind of things. And listen, it's not like he's showing up in police reports.
No.
That doesn't mean that, is what I'm trying to get across. I'm just saying, hey, some guys are slower to mature, take to it. And this will be, I'll say this about Taven Bryan. If he makes it to the opening day roster, if he does play, and this is not his agent talking, but he will, I would expect, because this is what happens in these situations, will play the best football he's ever played at the NFL level. I don't know if that's good enough. I don't know what that means. But this is like a do-or-die year in the NFL for Taven Bryan.
Yeah,
right? It's a massive year for him.
Yeah, it's definitely a do-or-die year. And listen, I want Taven Bryan to succeed. Like, I enjoy talking to that guy. I interviewed him last year at training camp, had a great interview. I think he's a cool dude. I'll be honest with you. And I think that he plays the game the right way in terms of the passion and the energy that he brings. He actually, I've said it before, he reminds me, like, the way that he plays reminds me a lot of myself until I figured out, hey, I got to slow things down a little bit. And, like, physically I'm good, but I got to focus on the mental part a little more. And I think that's where he's at as well. The only thing, though, to me that is counting big time against Taven Bryan right now is, and once again, we'll see how this defense comes to fruition. But if we assume it's going to be that traditional 3-4 base defense, and you're going to ask your defensive tackles to two-gap, well, Taven Bryan hasn't really done that. And when we're talking about a two-gap technique, that is all technique. Like, you can't get away with two-gapping. You can't get away with just athleticism and brute strength. Because if you get thrown out of your gap in a two-gap, the holes are going to – you thought the holes are bad the past couple of years? Wait till you're in a 3-4 defense trying to two-gap. And that's where Taven Bryan is right now. So unless he has like a complete 180 in terms of the mental makeup of how he approaches this game and how he approaches playing in the trenches, it's hard for me to believe he's going to be able to adapt to a 3-4 defense.
Well, they have said, though, now, Joe Cullen has said want a hybrid position, want a hybrid defense at times. So, I mean, how much do they switch it up? How much does that favor him on some looks, some snaps, some scheme, some game plans? Like, I don't know what that means, but it could play into him not always having to be in that spot.
It's obviously going to be because every single team runs a hybrid defense. But the key phrase that Joe Cullen told everybody is it's going to be a base 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
Anytime a coach says we're going to run a base or do this, the base is your identity. So yeah, they're gonna have wrinkles, maybe like Baltimore did, all this stuff. But when you say base 3-4, that's your identity and that's who you are. So especially out of the base packages, Taven Bryan's gonna have to two-gap. Can he do that? I haven't seen it, and I'm not very confident that he can.
I've died on a lot of hills in my career in Jacksonville.
Yep.
I'm just gonna tell you right now, I ain't dying on the Taven Bryan hill.
So you think he's gonna make the roster?
No, I'm just bringing this up for. When Urban Meyer said that today, my mind went to Taven Bryan. It did not go as much to the other guys you mentioned, Costin and Hamilton. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm also not going to try to talk anybody into it because I'm not dying on that hill.
Okay.
I've picked some bad hills to die on before, and Taven Bryan's not the hill I'm picking on. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Taven.
Okay.
I like him too, and I'm hoping for the best.
Me too.
But I almost wonder if he can have like a DeJuan Smoot kind of breakout, where it figures it out. Maybe this is the year he figures it out.
Maybe he.
Why wouldn't they have cut him already?
Maybe who? Taven
Some
Bryan?
people would argue they should have cut him last year during the season. The old
Taven
regime.
Bryan?
Yeah.
Well, because I've been here before, depth is really big in terms of defensive line playing a 3-4 defense. Like, I know that because I played a 3-4 defensive tackle in Kansas City when I was 280 pounds. Did I want to play that? Absolutely not. But I was at their mercy. It is what it is. Depth.
Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meet the pick to register each day through draft night. 8 days remain. No purchase required to enter or win. For eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meet the pick. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Former Washington football tight end and 7-year NFL veteran Jordan Reed said he's retiring from the game because of lingering issues that he has from multiple concussions that he suffered throughout his career. And also in the NFL, despite having what he would consider an off year, the Pittsburgh Steelers have given Mike Tomlin a 3-year extension. According to Stephen A. Smith, he deserved it.
You look around the National Football League and there's a whole bunch of coaches with far more suspect resumes that have jobs in the NFL. So when I look at it from that perspective, I don't want to hear about Mike Tomlin, being under pressure any more than, what he's normally under. You need to win when you're in Pittsburgh. You need to be a respectable team. There are elements that he can address, but in the end, there is no question. The record speaks for itself. 145, 78, and 1.
Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Welcome into the show, a name you know. If you've been listening and watching ESPN for a long time, I know you know him. We're going to call him one of the forefathers, if you will, of sports radio, Mike Greenberg.
Thank you. Forefathers is an interesting, that's a
That's fascinating. Every day, as I talk to more people, I get older and older. So that's kind of funny.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop.
The Jacksonville Auto Show is back. Celebrate one of the First Coast's premier events, May 7th through 9th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Check out the hottest 2021 models, ride and drives, classics and exotics, and even historic military vehicles. Everything sanitized in a safe and clean environment. The Auto Show, Mother's Day weekend, May 7th through 9th. Free parking from 5-Star Credit Union. Discount coupons at gate gas stations. Tickets available only online at jacksautoshow.com.
Hey, April is Financial Literacy Month. At some point, you've said to yourself, man, if only I had known. We all make money mistakes, but the worst mistake is not educating our kids and teens about how money, credit, and debt work. So make a point to really talk with your kids about money. If you need help, visit any one-to-one financial credit union branch or our website at 121fcu.org. They're never too young to start investing and never too old to stop learning. Thanks. Federally insured by NCUA.
Find just what you're looking for at Arlington Toyota. With over 700 new Toyotas available, Arlington has the model you want, with the features you want, at the price you want. And with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's worry-free 30-day exchange policy and a lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited time and unlimited miles. Shop ArlingtonToyota.com or in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard.
To all you do-it-yourselfers, get ready to welcome Fram into the fam. Because America's #1 oil filter brand now has their own new line of motor oil and fluids. And it's only at Advance and CarQuest Auto Parts. Stop into Advance and choose from 4 new Fram oil change bundles starting at just $20.99. They have the oil and filters you need to keep your engine running stronger, longer. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you're usually listening to ESPN 690 in your car, we appreciate it. But your boss has you working from home this week, so take us with you. Your smart speaker brings ESPN 690 into your home office. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Well, the easiest way to answer that is no negatives. All the research we've done, you're always looking for the stars to align when you're looking at prospects, whether that be from a physical, mental, character back, whatever the case may be. And with his situation, like many others in this draft, the stars all align, and that's what you're looking for.
Listen, we need a little star alignment in Jacksonville. That was GM Trent Baalke. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey. I've kind of like forgotten about Kuz.
Yeah? He's just a figment of your imagination?
Kuz is like 3 producers ago.
I know, man.
I mean, Casey.
We're going through the rotations right now.
Steve Austin.
Yes.
Silverware Steve Austin.
Yep.
Haven't give Casey a nickname yet.
Nah.
It's Casey with a K.
I mean, like.
Casey Kasem.
I keep going back to Casey Kasem, which is obviously.
You don't even know who that is.
You know Casey Kasem? Mr. Audible Chocolate? No? Dang, man.
I told you.
How old are you, Casey?
23.
Oh, wow.
We had the same discussion about Ryan Sandberg.
For sure.
I knew that.
He didn't know that one. I'm Casey Kasem. Yeah, man.
The golden
Mr.
pipes right
Audible.
there, man.
Mr. Audible Chocolate himself. Did he pass away?
I believe he did.
He did?
Yeah.
R.I.P. to the GOAT, man.
What did he, I think did he who am I thinking? Who stood the New Year's Eve? Dick Clark.
Dick Clark.
Now, Dick Clark had a stroke, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yep.
This dude was Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, or is this a different dude?
Whoa, huh?
Okay, different dude.
Like, oh, wait, do you mean the voice or just like he had to be the voice.
Yeah,
maybe.
the original voice.
Oh, he might have been, I guess.
Or there's a dude with a similar spelling that has also died, and yeah.
Yeah, he passed away in 2014. And she writes in, Dear Casey. What was that called? It's like the request something. It's like a request and dedication.
Request and dedication. I tried that. I wanted to do that. I seriously did. I tried it one time in TV. Okay. And I thought it would be great in Jacksonville. And I've actually even tried. I think we tried this one time in our first year. Yeah. And I just wanted to try it for a week, and it just didn't take off. But the whole old request and dedication segment of radio.
Yeah.
Which everybody kind of grew up on, which you don't really need to do that much anymore because you just dial it up on whatever device you have and pick the song you want.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, I'm going to say somebody's name and I'll probably get who's like, there's probably somebody doing requests and dedications. I'll just.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
I was going to say.
Who's the lady?
Delilah.
Delilah. Oh, you can't say her?
I don't know.
Is she
I don't know.
she
might be.
Whatever.
No idea.
I mean, it's just not sports competition. Who cares?
I know. But somebody will send me an email.
It's not like Mo Southwest is going to her. It's fine.
That's true.
Chill out.
Chill out. So anyway, my thought process with like the sports element of that is always built around my father-in-law.
Okay.
Because he's a big Reds fan.
Yeah.
And so I was like, when he would come into town, he'd be like, kind of jokingly, he'd be like, can you show the Reds highlights tonight or something?
Yeah.
And I always thought, especially in Florida, it's so transient.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to kind of like somebody writes in and been like, hey, I want to see the Minnesota Twins play tonight. Can you show that? Right. And so we kind of tried to do it on the radio side where like, hey, you come in with a topic that really we don't talk about normally.
And we study
request
it
and dedication, and we talk about it.
I like that.
It just didn't go anywhere. Like, I don't know. Maybe we didn't do it long enough. Maybe it's just a dumb idea.
You didn't do it. No, you didn't do it right. Because I mean, Casey Kasem made his career off that. By the way, Casey's not wrong. Casey, our producer, he was the voice of Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
Was he really?
And by the way, Shaggy's last name was Shaggy Rogers. Had no idea about that. But no, Casey Kasem made. Brent, we should do that in honor of Casey Kasem. Because like it'd be like, and Amy writes, Dear Amy. Or I'm sorry, Dear Casey. My boyfriend cheated on me. I'm horrible, and I need something to get me through it. Dear Amy, courtesy of Casey Kasem, here's Cardi B WAP. Enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he always did. Like, he always had it in his back.
This is pretty good by you right
here.
This is impressive.
She writes, Dear Casey.
Hey, this Casey, producer Casey, go check out Casey Kasem
and
play that back.
Dear
and that
Casey.
is not bad.
Yep. So, Amy, in honor of you, here's your request and dedication. Here's Cardi B's WAP.
Now, we were going to talk sports, but this is such a good topic.
Yeah.
We went, we'll get the, can you talk football?
Yeah.
People on YouTube or wherever in just a moment.
Yeah.
We'll talk more football in a moment.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw this out there, so apologies. I'm going to try and offend anybody. But did Ryan Seacrest take over for Casey Kasem in the top 40 at one time and then took over for Dick Clark on New Year's Eve? Did he do both?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, Ryan Seacrest does everything, and then he took over. I mean, has there ever been a guy who took over for more legends? Regis Philbin, right? He took over for Regis.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, doesn't he do Kathy Lee or whatever? Not
Kelly,
Kathy Lee. Kelly.
Isn't that Anderson Cooper? I have no idea, dude. I haven't watched daytime.
It's Ryan and Kelly, but before I think it was Strahan for a little bit.
It was okay. So he didn't directly
Seacrest
take
is
over.
with Kelly, huh?
As far as I know,
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So
I'm 33, man.
I
don't
gotta
watch
look
that
this
show.
up. But
okay.
if Ryan Seacrest took over for Regis, Casey Kasem, and Dick Clark,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good.
And he looks like he's 20 still too, which is ridiculous.
I still
guy's
think,
got it all.
Listen, Ryan Seacrest probably really talented.
Yeah.
I also think there are
here
probably
comes the hate.
There are about 50 people.
You gonna talk smack about Ryan Seacrest
There are
now?
about 50 people, maybe more.
Okay.
That could have walked into the thing that he walked into with the American Idol and done just fine. I think he was the luckiest person on the planet to walk into American Idol, and then it opened up everything else. And by the way, I think he's good. He's good for him. I'm not jealous of him.
Yeah. But
I don't think I would be one of those guys, by the way. I'm not a musical person.
Sure.
But I think there are so many people that could have been a star host of that show, and he walked into it, and it became like this gold mine.
And the winner is, we'll find out after this break. We'll be right back. No, but you know why Ryan Seacrest became big in the radio? Because I have the 411 because the guy I was working on, possibly for the morning show where I was doing the trial run and stuff, I had to deal with like the big time, like the head honcho here at Cox Media.
Okay.
And he worked with Ryan Seacrest. And the whole reason why Ryan Seacrest became big was because when he got the American Idol gig, he also had a radio show.
He did. I knew that.
And it was under the advice of the guy I talked to under Cox Media that said, hey, you're on American Idol, give us behind the scenes. Like, tell us about these artists. And Ryan didn't want to do that because, like, he's just like, dude, I live that so much already. I want to do my own thing on the radio show. Well, they talked him into doing, like, the After Idol kind of radio show.
Yeah.
And that became, because obviously you know how big of a TV show American Idol is.
Ah.
So when he does After Idol, whatever it was, on the radio, that's what propelled him into the stratosphere, and that's why we got so popular with all these mediums.
By the way, if you're now talking to head honchos here at Cox Media Group, can you at least throw a good word in for me?
And me, really.
And Casey.
Okay, well, I mean, this was a couple months ago, Casey. I just met you, but I'll be sure to throw your name his way as well.
Hey, how about Sal Pal coming up next? Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Back to football, folks.
Oh, boy, you have that look on your face. That grumbling Greg face. Boss asking you to do work? No, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask somebody to work at work. That's why we switched to Peak Push to Talk. Yeah, Push to Talk is back. Connect instantly to anybody, anywhere in the country. Boop. Get used to the boop. And working at work, too. It's kind of the thing we do.
Boop nationwide. Learn more at booptotalk.com.
Oh, pollen season is still hanging around. I'll take care of my allergies, but who's going to take care of keeping my truck clean? I've been going to Prime Car Wash, full service interior and exterior. And while you wait, spacious lounges, even child-friendly lounges, Starbucks coffee, iPads, Wi-Fi. Before you know it, your car or truck is cleaned. I went to the Beach Boulevard location, and there's one on San Jose as well. Give it a try. You can even get a membership. Let Prime Car Wash take care of your vehicle. Prime Car Wash. Clean inside. Clean outside. I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Ever wonder why so many people are opening banking accounts at Community First?
Because it's a smart way to move your money around.
Or do anything else you want with it.
And at Community First, you don't have to pretend to be anybody special.
Just be yourself.
You can add a Community First banking account at any branch or on your phone, tablet, or desktop at justbeyourself.com. Community First. Just be yourself.
Federally insured by NCUA.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? So that I can go back to church.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half? That feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you could pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
With right leg injuries. In the aftermath of the guilty verdicts in the death of George Floyd, NFLPA Executive Director Damaris Smith says this is an opportunity for the league.
I deal with the NFL's power in a negative way almost every day. When we hold and expect them to use that massive power to achieve monumental social change, that's when I think that corporations like the NFL and other corporations really step up to the plate.
Damaris Smith on Key J and Z. The NFL will announce the 2021 schedule 3 weeks from today, May 12th. This season will feature the new expanded 17-game schedule, with each team still getting a bye week. Cavaliers coach J.B. Bickerstaff will miss tonight's game against the Bulls for personal reasons. Assistant coach Greg Buckner will take over for Cleveland.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Janae. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. 4 o'clock hour here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Sal Paolantonio scheduled to join us from ESPN in just a few minutes. Urban Meyer talked today. Trent Baalke talked today. Again, if you missed the top of the show, hope you didn't. But the transparency of Urban Meyer is good. Again, I really like how he's talking to the fans. And listen, they've all but said we're taking Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Almost asked. Be like, why can't you just say it?
Hey, Urban Meyer, get a little more pumped up about the toaster, too, huh?
Yes.
The whole city's a buzz right now. Get on board.
Yeah, he was asked about the gifts, and only Baalke answered and said, it was awesome.
Crickets.
I think it was awesome. That was it. But that was it.
Crickets. Come on, man.
I think that setting sometimes is interesting.
You got to be a professional
for those
about
guys.
it.
Yeah, you know, just because, one guy answered the question, now the other guy answered the question.
But you want to talk about that, too. Like, that's something new to Urban Meyer as well. Like, you go from college where, you can't really, like, no one's buying college players wedding gifts, right? And now you come to Jacksonville, and the entire city's coming out for a toaster oven. They donate, $20,000 to Trevor Lawrence's fund, and it's like, it's craziness.
Hey, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, former Jags player, Austin Lane here on a Wednesday, and we're joined by ESPN Sal Paolantonio right now. Appreciate Sal taking some time out of a busy draft, a couple of weeks schedule. What would you buy Trevor Lawrence if you were invited to his wedding, Sal? How you doing?
Oh, man, that's the guy who's got everything, right?
You're not lying.
Yeah, he's got it all, and he's going to have a lot more. He's going to have the world kneeling at his feet because I think he's going to be a fabulous professional player. He's going to do great on Sundays. I just think he's a once-in-a-generation talent. You watch him. He looks whip smart pre-snap. He can make all the throws. He's super competitive. He wins at the highest levels. I think he's going to be great for Jacksonville. He's going to be great for the National Football League. I really love Jacksonville, been down there a whole lot. I was in the military. I have a lot of military friends who have retired in the area. I love going down there. It's a great, great, great sports town, a great football town, and they deserve to have get back to the winning ways. And I got to just tell you this one other thing. I'm one of the 46 selectors for the NFL, for the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. And I have been pushing very, very hard for Tony Baselli to get in. I agree with one of your favorite sons, Pete Prisco, that he's got to get in. He's got to get in soon, and I predict that in 2022 he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. I really do. I think it's going to happen. I think in one more season we're going to have him in there.
Sal Paolantonio with us. We love to hear that in Jacksonville. The fans are really thirsting for that to happen. Tony to get to Canton, Ohio, no doubt about it. Hey, let me ask you this real quick, since you brought that up. I've always wondered this, and I go cover a lot of the Super Bowls, and we'll end up seeing the voters in the lobby, and we're waiting and hoping that Tony gets in that year, and it's been disappointing at times now over the last handful of years or so. But is there any value or importance in the fact that the Jags have not had a Hall of Fame member yet? They've been more than 25 years of franchise. Does that hold any weight, especially with a guy that has earned the chance to be in Canton?
No, I don't think it has never come up in the room. This is my 9th season in that room, and it's never come up. And we have obviously had very vigorous conversations about Tony Baselli. I think what has held him back is just length of service. That's the bottom line. But I think if he didn't have that bad shoulder surgery and bad shoulder problem, he would have been Tony Munoz. He would have been Anthony Munoz. He would have, in my view, been one of the top 5 all-time offensive tackles because I think that's the level that he played at when he was healthy. And there's interest is growing, I can tell you, to put him in sooner rather than later. I think Alan Faneca had to get in this past time because of the length of service and how good he was and the number of Pro Bowls and All-Pros he had just outweighed where Tony was in his career. But I think the time is coming where Tony Baselli is going to get into the Hall of Fame. I predict he will get in sooner rather than later.
Sal, we're 8 days away from the draft. Obviously, here in Jacksonville, we got it pretty easy in terms of the top pick. We know it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. But to me, the draft doesn't really start until pick number 3 with the 49ers. They give up some draft capital. They move up a little bit. And here's what drives me crazy about the whole draft process, because I had to go through it myself. It's the smoke screens. It's, setting up traps for other teams. And when I say the smoke screens, the 49ers went to Trey Lance, went to Justin Fields and said, hey, we want you guys to do a second pro day. Now, I get it. Those guys want to compete and everything like that, especially the quarterback position. But you got to think the 49ers know who they're going to take as soon as they trade it up to get that 3rd pick.
You would hope so, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I totally agree with you. The 49ers are the pivot point in the first round. But you would hope so, that if you're going to take 3 first-rounders, that you would know who you're going up to get. And to me, it was honestly, in my opinion, very misguided to do that, to take all of those picks and go up for a Justin Fields or a Mac Jones or Trey Lance. To me, there really is only one slam-dunk quarterback, and that's Trevor Lawrence. And after that, I look at Zach Wilson. I don't see an NFL body on Zach Wilson. I know he can make all the throws, I know he's got a whip arm. He looks super smart and super tough, but I'm worried about his ability to withstand the pain, especially now that we're going to a 17-game season. Justin Fields, he looks terrific. There's no question he's got a great arm. He's super smart. He's obviously got great speed. But there's a lot of debate about whether Justin Fields translates. And that's one of the things that we talk about tonight on the NFL Matchup Show with Greg Cosell and Matt Bowen. We really dive deep into the difference in opinion about Justin Fields and Mac Jones as to whether they project into the current NFL the way it is played. You're going to have to scheme up things for Mac Jones. You're going to have to scheme up things for Justin Fields. So I think it's, to me, misguided to trade all those picks to go all in. What did we just learn with Jared Goff and Carson Wentz? Yeah. In this offseason, those two guys were traded by the teams that traded up to get them and then invested a second contract in both of them, and then they traded them away. I just don't get it. After a guy at 43 years old who was drafted 199th won his 7th Super Bowl. Come on, help me. Help me out here, really.
And Sal, when we talk about Justin Fields, to me, this guy is all over the place. To me, he was unequivocally the second best quarterback entering the college football season. Right now, you take those two games. You take Indiana, you take Northwestern. He doesn't play that well, probably the worst games out of any of those quarterbacks that you just mentioned. But then when we see the good of Justin Fields on the big stage, playing through injury and being a dual threat quarterback, all the intrigue is there. So why are we talking about Justin Fields falling, maybe possibly, we'll see at number 3, but why is he falling so much after this season when his good was maybe the best out of any quarterback?
Yeah, well, the league set a record for points scored and touchdown passes, and teams are desperate for quarterbacks. Now, I think that Justin Fields is going to be a very good and could be a great NFL player. I'm just saying I don't know if I invest 3 picks to go up and get Justin Fields when I'm not sure. That to me is the key thing. That if you're the 49ers, I don't see how in the world you would do that. But here's the thing. Let's look at the 49ers, and I know we're talking about Jacksonville, and I want to go back to the pass protection thing, and that's the reason why I brought up Tony Baselli. But if you're the 49ers, if you're Seattle, if you're Arizona, you're worried about one guy, Aaron Donald. You want to make sure that your quarterback doesn't get buried, destroyed by Aaron Donald twice a season, as Russell Wilson has and as Jimmy Garoppolo has. One of the reasons why they got Kyler Murray is so that he can run away from Aaron Donald and deliver the football. So in my view, if the Niners are smart, they take Justin Fields over Mac Jones, because Justin Fields can at least escape the pass rush of the Rams and deliver the football, whereas Mac Jones is more of a pocket passer. So that's that. But getting back to the Jacksonville team, whatever you do, and Balky's a really smart guy, and I got a lot of respect for Urban Meyer, tremendous college coach. But you're now playing 17 games. You better protect that young man. You don't want to duplicate what happened in Cincinnati. The most important thing about Trevor Lawrence in his rookie season is, 1, give him options to get rid of the football quickly. 2, it's not college. You can't wait for guys to be open. You got to get NFL open and then deliver the football in 2.5 seconds or less, because the rush is going to get there. Remember, the league blitzed at a rate of 28% last year. That's the most in 5 years. That's the highest percentage in 5 years. So you can't really hold the pass rush that long when teams are blitzing that much. That's why Joe Burrow got buried last year. He held the ball like he was at LSU. Trevor Lawrence cannot hold the ball like he's at Clemson. Ball's got to come out, and they got to protect Trevor Lawrence if they want to have that young man last 17-game season the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, really good point. Sal Paolantonio, ESPN national correspondent. Sal mentioned the NFL matchup show draft specials coming up tonight, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. That's episode 1. Episode 2 will air Tuesday, April 27th, right before the draft, 10 p.m. on ESPN2. So a couple days before the draft. Tonight, 9 o'clock ESPN2. Next Tuesday on ESPN2 at 10 o'clock. Sal's been doing it for 20 years now. Always awesome to hear your takes, and I think they're really good conversation pieces here in Jacksonville and across the NFL. Sal, I'll leave you with this. Who do you think is the most interesting team as we approach draft night with what they have maybe capital-wise, with what they might do? Miami has some picks. New England might need a quarterback. Carolina is a very interesting one at 8. Who do you feel like is the team to watch that maybe could even disrupt things in the draft?
Okay, let's look at 2 teams in the AFC. I think it's the Indianapolis Colts, won 11 games, changed quarterbacks, went all in on Carson Wentz. Frank Reich is a terrific coach. I think the Colts have a chance to be in the AFC Championship game next year. I think they have a chance to vault over Buffalo and be better than Buffalo. So I'm very interested to see what the Colts do. Secondly, without a doubt, as I mentioned, Belichick won all those Super Bowls with a guy he drafted 199th. And now people are draft experts, people that I know and respect, are predicting that he will trade up in the first round to take a quarterback. Now, if there's nothing more that's the antithesis of what Bill Belichick has done in his career. He got one at 199 and won 6 Super Bowls, and now he's going to turn around and try to resurrect himself in New England by trading up in the first round. To me, I don't see it happening. I just don't. I don't see him moving up. I think it's completely antithetical to everything he's ever stood for. I'd be shocked if he does it, and if he does it, it will be absolutely shocking. The other is the Dallas Cowboys, to me. You have Dak Prescott coming back from that gruesome injury. The NFC East is easily won by any team that can add 3 or 4 or 5 wins, and the Cowboys can certainly do that. I want to see which way they go. Do they go all in on Kyle Pitts and try to jump up ahead of everybody and trade from 10 to 4 and convince the Falcons to move down to 10 and take Kyle Pitts at number 4? That's what I'm interested to see, because they are truly in love with Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts would really, really help Dak Prescott coming back from that injury. I think the Dallas Cowboys are an intriguing team.
That would be a wild move. Sal Paolantonio, one of the best. We appreciate the time. Good luck on the NFL matchup shows tonight. We'll be watching 9 o'clock on ESPN2. And thanks for all the good words about Jacksonville and also Tony Baselli. We hope he's in soon.
Do me a favor, please. Win some games down there so I can come down to Jacksonville, hang out at Amelia Island, and have Dan Edwards take me out to dinner. Come on now.
We're trying. We hope you're right, man. Been around here 13 years, only covered 1 winning season, so we're right there with you. Thanks, Sal.
All right, talk to you.
Sal Paolantonio. That's pretty cool. We've had him on a couple years ago. Remember when Nick Foles stuff? He's high on Nick Foles. Obviously covers Philadelphia very closely. Wrote a book with Foles and didn't work out here. But I didn't expect him to go the Tony Baselli way. And I remember when we had Sal on 2 years ago, he said, we got to talk Tony Baselli at another time. And, well, here we are a couple years later talking Tony Baselli. But that's interesting to hear. I mean, he was really confident that there's been momentum. And what he said, here's the buzz you get out of the voters sometimes when it's a Hall of Fame, is how much time did they spend on a certain player talking, debating? Well, it sounds like Tony Baselli has been a big conversation piece in that room. Man, it would be nice to get Tony Baselli in the Hall, and then after that, Fred Taylor, and then after that, Jimmy Smith, but open that floodgate, man, for Jacksonville would be pretty cool.
You know what's wild? He talked about the Patriots a little bit, kind of stood out to me, of trading up to get a quarterback, and he's saying it's not really their MO.
Yeah.
But has this offseason of the Patriots really been their MO at all in terms of the free agents spending all that money?
That's a very good call.
This has been, in my opinion, uncharacteristic of Bill Belichick so far in free agency. Why wouldn't he finish the race now and get a quarterback to really shock everybody?
That's an excellent observation there. This has been hasn't been
the status quo.
The bottom line is it's not status quo, when over 20 years you had the greatest of all time running your show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so everything you do feeds off that guy.
Yep.
And what you do and maneuver and how you plan and your philosophy is off that guy. Well, you don't have that guy anymore. Now, listen, they've had some Jimmy Garoppolo. They've picked a bunch of quarterbacks that, hey, maybe that guy could have been the successor. Timing didn't work out.
Yep.
I thought what was interesting about Sal Pal there is that he essentially said, why does anybody trade up for a quarterback after what we just witnessed with this offseason of Wentz and Goff and even the other quarterbacks that were in the fray to move on? So that's an interesting perspective on it. Is it worth it? We say you got to get the QB, but is it worth it? And especially when you're paying a guy $120 million like they are Garoppolo, was it worth giving these picks up instead of just sitting back and getting a different guy, whether it's at 12 or in the second round or somewhere else? So that's an interesting philosophical look from Sal Paolantonio. Quick nod, if you didn't hear us out, NFL matchup tonight, draft specials. That should be good. 9 o'clock on ESPN2. They'll have another one on Tuesday, April 27th, 10 o'clock on ESPN2. It's produced by NFL Films, and they'll look at a range of prospects and positions, including Elijah Moore, who at times has been rumored to be a mock draft selection of some for the Jags, Patrick Surtain, and Peyton Turner from Houston as well. Good to have Sal Paolantonio on here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN690. Another thing that he just said, which is interesting, is the love for the Cowboys for Pitts. Now, that would be interesting to move up for Dallas. Does that make sense to do that? Remember, they in the past, they went and got Amari Cooper. They gave away a first-round pick. Would they be willing to give up stuff to get to 4, 5, 6 in front of Miami if Kyle Pitts is still on the board, where everybody says they're going Patrick Surtain, every mock draft that you read? Dallas, of all the teams are interesting, I think Carolina's interesting. I think Miami's interesting. We know San Francisco's right there. The Patriots are, right? People are talking about the Patriots. But I didn't really put Dallas on my radar of really super interesting teams. So I thought that was a fascinating.
But you get the sense that Jerry Jones always wants to mix it up a little bit, right?
Well, you do, right? He's a little more of the gambler kind of feels like.
I mean,
but can you imagine that offense now?
I know,
you got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Dak signed up, you got Amari Cooper.
But keep in mind with Zeke though, he regressed a little bit last year. Well,
they've got a couple backs there now, so but still, I mean, you gotta believe Ezekiel's still got something.
Especially if Dak's coming back healthy.
It's the all-world on paper team,
without a doubt.
Right?
Without a doubt. Yes.
I'm gonna follow up on something else Sal Paolantonio said. You got to protect them.
Yeah.
Right. And what's interesting here in Jacksonville in the offensive line, I get it, fans. You're not as big a fan of the offensive line as the Jags are fans of their offensive line. He said it again today. He likes the players they have on the offensive line. But this draft will be interesting from a depth perspective on the Jaguars' offensive line, because if you just look down the road a little bit, sure, there's win now stuff. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be protected nicely with this offensive line. I think he's in a good situation. I think that's an advantageous situation to land. This isn't an eyesore offensive line in my estimation. But as you look to year 2 and year 3, where are they at? Is Cam Robinson, did he get it done? You gave him a long-term deal, or do you have a vacancy at left tackle? Andrew Norwell, do you want to keep paying that money? Did he take a step back, or are you just going to cut him and it's just time to go from the dollar standpoint? You have a vacancy. Brandon Linder, it's been a long time now since he's been with this football team. Is it time to move on from Brandon Linder? Is there a vacancy?
True.
A.J. Cann, I don't know where that is. Everybody's always trying to get A.J. out of here, although he plays pretty well. And then by then we'll have a determination of Jawan Taylor or not after 3 years in the NFL. So if you look at next year and you want to think doomsday-ish, you could see a lot of holes on that offensive line. Now, you can keep your fingers crossed that it works out well, too.
Yeah.
But there could be a lot of holes. And so from Sal Pal's point of view, and even Jags fans' point of view, who want offensive linemen in this draft, it wouldn't be a today situation, but it certainly wouldn't be too far down the road to look ahead to.
No, and especially, when we talk about the trenches, and Urban Meyer knows how important those are. When we talk about those, yeah, you got to be focused on the present, but also maybe focus on the future just a little bit. Like that's something we can get by in terms of depth, obviously, and in terms of I don't want to say that I don't want to say the V word, the value word. You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense from that perspective, because at the end of the day, the main objective is to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy.
Well, and it's also interesting to watch Will Richardson. Can they develop him by not playing a lot of games, even on the practice? Can they develop Ben Barch? They've made some investments, but can these guys become players that they can rely on down the road? I think this year protecting Trevor Lawrence is not as big a deal as next year in year 2 for Trevor Lawrence, quite honestly.
A lot more question marks the following year, yes.
Let's take a break. Shock Your Mock season on the way. Should have asked Sal Pal for his mock. We could have shocked his. It's up next on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clear and cool overnight, dropping into the upper 40s, and a nice Thursday, although below average temperatures will reach the low 70s with plenty of sun. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks Arrest Training Helpline for all you newbies out there. Where staying away from safe touch houses is not just a motto.
It's a golden rule.
Correct. Today we'll point out the differences in video surveillance systems. First, the ding-dong doorbell camera.
Simple, easy to install, and easy to hack.
Yep. You know the news stories about hackers and employees hacking into those do-it-yourself video cameras.
But not with SafeTouch.
Right. SafeTouch has multiple safeguards, including encrypted technology, which protects it from hackers.
Plus, now SafeTouch offers advanced video surveillance systems with interior, exterior, and 24/7 video storage.
Just one more reason we always stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule. Stay away from SafeTouch houses. Tattoo that on your brain, newbie.
Crooks know to stay away from SafeTouch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of SafeTouch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. It is the home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the golf club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance it smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Smoked for hours, served in minutes. Now that sounds like good barbecue, and it is at Willie Jewell's in St. Augustine at Mirabella Crossing. Open 7 days a week. It's old school barbecue. Trivia night on Monday. Kids eat free on Wednesdays. Check out the Willie Jewell's app and catering for all of your events. Visit williejewells.com and visit Willie Jewell's at Mirabella Crossing in St. Augustine. Old school barbecue, smoked for hours, served in minutes at Willie Jewell's.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Sir, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? Because I would like to hug my grandchildren.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create vax904.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Find just what you're looking for at Arlington Toyota. With over 700 new Toyotas available, Arlington has the model you want, with the features you want, at the price you want. And with every new Toyota purchase, you get Arlington's worry-free 30-day exchange policy and a lifetime powertrain warranty with unlimited time and unlimited miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com or in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
Russell Wilson's agent, on the record, gave Shefty 4 teams Russell Wilson would like to play for. That is an important distinction in this conversation.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Brent Martineau.
They probably already have one. Cornholing.
Austin Lane.
You're going to have a call from PR in a little bit here.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
The amount of time we've spent together to build this board, I think it becomes very easy, no different than coaching. You know, on Sundays, it's easy to call plays when the preparation's right. I think the same thing with the draft. I think we're going to be very prepared, feel very good about where we're at. So trusting that board, that's how you make a living.
Jaguars GM, Trent Baalke, telling it like it is. I'm just a storyline. I think is Brent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Peter King going to be kind of behind the scenes for this draft with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Did I read that right?
I didn't see that. Now he usually is somewhere.
Yeah,
behind the scenes. Is it the Jags that are letting him in?
Well, I'm not sure if it's like Peter King, but I could have swore there's gonna be like some kind of insider that's gonna be there. And obviously there'll be a story that comes out because I'm really curious to see.
Can't be a local guy.
No, can't be a local guy.
You sure it's not Michael Silver?
I thought it was Peter King. I thought when he put out the Monday morning, what is it?
Monday morning quarterback. Was it Albert Breer who knows Meyer pretty well? I'll have to check.
I don't know.
Somebody out there will know that what you're talking. I haven't seen that. I did not see that.
I thought it was. I think it's Peter King. Don't quote me on that, Brent. I think it's Peter King.
By the way, those are awesome. Like last year, I think it was Mike Silver, either last year or the year prior. Well, last year wouldn't have made much sense, right? Because there was a pandemic. Yeah. Maybe that was a little harder to do, but I like those articles. It's really cool. I kind of wish they'd let us in.
I was going to say, it's kind of a bummer for you since Dave's gone now. It's not like you can go behind the snes and, have a couple of cocktails while it's going on with him.
No, I just figured
you're locked out of the building.
We just do the Caldwell mock draft this time.
I like that. The Caldwell mock draft. You ready for this thing? How are we with time? I mean, I don't want to go over like we did yesterday and stuff. So
no, we're good.
Okay.
See, we rearranged things correctly this time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
and it helped that Sal Paolantonio actually called this as well. I mean, I was thinking it's gonna be another Daniel Jeremiah incident where Sal emailed you and you didn't get back to him. No. So we're on a roll right now.
By the way, did you see where the NFL put out the schedule release is coming up May 12th?
Sweet, cool.
Yep. So that's going to be fun.
It's going to be, so they put out a schedule release for the schedule release.
They did. Show on NFL Network May 12th at 8 o'clock.
Is that like, what, 2 hours, 3 hours? It's going to be, I was thinking they're going to draw that out. Year. I know.
What I'm wondering is they haven't quite come out. 17 regular season games, 3 preseason games for the first time. So they have, I think everybody knew that, but I think they've kind of confirmed and acknowledged the 3 preseason games if they hadn't already. But what's interesting, will they do the international series? I think is still a question mark unless they've come out with that. That will be something to watch, whether they're planning to do that or not, which would be one of those games in London. I think some teams have hinted that there is that game in London. I think Atlanta might even have said that.
Yeah.
But will they, where everything sits now, follow through with that? I'm still curious about, but we will find out. I got an update on the shirts.
The floor is yours.
So we're working on it. You've been getting a lot of DMs.
Don't say where, because once again.
No, you're not working on it.
So you are working on it.
Yes.
I can't stress this enough. Not my idea. Your project. I'm sitting back relaxed, letting you do your thing.
Here's the thing. I've tried to include you a little bit on this because when everybody says, thank you, man, that was very nice of you, I don't want just all the credit.
No, this is good cop, bad cop, okay? I'm the bad cop. I shock the mock, and then, to kind of give them a participation trophy like you're so into, you give them a T-shirt.
Yes.
That's what we do here.
So I did today. So I've reached out to everybody now, and I have addresses and sizes.
Well done.
And so they'll be going out tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, so I did 20. There've been 22 Shock Your Mock days. This will be day 23.
Feels like 10, doesn't it, Brent? Just having so much fun with this thing.
I wondered why I was missing 2 though, because I only had 20 contacts.
Sure. Well, okay.
I was missing 2, and I have to still remedy this situation.
Well, 1 we didn't put up because the guy didn't deserve to have his name put up.
No, but you said it on air, and I listened.
Brent's the homework here is ridiculous. Okay,
I mean, yeah.
Props.
So what do you think? Customer service department.
Props.
Right here.
We did that yesterday. Yes. Wait till you see what I do today.
So I was like, okay, we're missing 2. Well, 1, you denied a shirt.
Yes.
So I don't have him on my list.
Don't take Zach Wilson. It's not a game. Simple as that. Don't take Zach Wilson.
Do you think by now that guy or gal or whoever it was on Twitter thought we would relent on the giving of the shirt?
Oh, I'm sorry that we're going to give in. Like I'm not the pettiest I'm not like the pettiest sports radio host in all of Jacksonville. Have you listened to the show, sir? No T-shirt, Brent.
Yeah.
No T-shirt.
I'm thinking of just a really nice gift basket for that guy. Double down. Maybe 2 shirts.
Oh yeah. This is coming from the guy. This is coming from the guy who went to B-Dubs and had a friend on top of him saying GE, the Jets thing.
J.
I can't spell. It's all good. It's all good
That's
though.
the other New York team.
It's all good though. Yeah, Jets, Jets. Like Brent,
my back still hurts from that day.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
you gonna sue?
I can feel it.
You get a chiropractor.
And so anyway, the other one is we got to get from Coos because they put their information direct message on Instagram.
No, then you don't get a T-shirt.
No, they did. Just Coos has it. Oh, but I don't want to bother him on his honeymoon. And so I got to wait for Coos to come back for that.
But precedent. Like, you've been married now.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
It's been like 4 days in Cancun.
You've had the grace period, okay?
Yeah.
Time to come back to reality a little bit.
Honeymoon's over.
Shock Your Mock is a pressing matter. Priorities,
Time
Brent.
to check in, Coos.
Priorities, yeah. Are you okay?
I will tell you this, okay? One last thought before we get to today's Shock Your
Sure.
Mock. It is amazing. You know how we do roll call once in a while?
Yeah.
I'm going to, at the end of this, do roll call for the Shock Your Mock shirts.
We're worldwide.
It's amazing how many people listen outside of Jacksonville.
Way past the ESPN 690 signal.
Like, when you do research, I got to ask the folks here.
Sure.
But when you do research.
Yes.
Or when you do these polls, like they do surveys, like who's going to win the presidential election, or stuff like that.
Which
is Bitcoin
always the
going to
most
hit $1
accurate.
million?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, whatever. But how many people do you think they ask when they do those research numbers? How many?
100,000?
No,
my
I don't gosh,
know.
No. Can you imagine 100,000?
Well, I feel like it's like I don't know, man.
Maybe like 1,000
per capita. I don't know.
Max.
Sure. Okay.
Like max. So if you're going to do research,
Okay.
I would say some probably are even less, but I'd say max 1,000.
I feel like for the election polls, it's more than 1,000.
Well, it could be. I mean, that's a little different animal, those exit polls. But still, you don't have all.
Mentioned it. I don't know.
I think what basically people will say in research, like whatever 1,000 people tell us is probably the trend for the rest.
Yeah,
that's my point.
Okay.
So, well, we only are giving out 20 shirts so far.
Yes.
But if 20 shirts is a trend for the rest of the listeners, which is millions, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, then
we're absolutely
we are
global.
everywhere.
We're global.
Like, ESPN doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
But we are a national show.
No, we're
a
global.
worldwide show.
Now, we're not syndicated yet, and that's the goal.
That will be the goal.
That's the goal. I mean, we're
because
gonna,
if we get syndicated, I can get somebody else to pay for the T-shirts.
That's a good point. That's what I've been told.
Probably somebody else to mail them.
Yeah, for sure. Without a doubt. But I'll tell you what, though. We're not going to have somebody else push the buttons or hit the buttons today.
No.
Because that's Casey's job.
Casey's killing it.
Kasem.
And so let's get to it.
Let's
Shock
get it,
your mock
Casey.
time.
You know what to do, man. Lead us off.
He is none other than the Shock Master!
Gonna shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
Brutality.
Shocking. Gonna shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
Shocking upset.
I feel shocked. Shock yo mock. We're gonna shock yo mock.
I am shocked. I am shocked. That's what I mean. I am.
No time. You kind of teased it. You got something special for us. See, folks, I never know what he's going to do.
You better believe it.
FCC violations be damned.
Yes, sir.
Red button. You know where the drop button is, Casey, right?
Do you know how that drop button works? You might want to get. I'm familiar. I'm
Nick
not
is
lying.
in his office. I just bombarded him because you were listening to Mike Golick Jr. in your ear.
Yeah, it was
like
weird. It's super weird. Real quick though, is Nick listening to the show in his office?
Nah.
So I can. Okay, good.
He's got bigger fish to fry than us.
Because I don't want to get yelled at. Okay, good.
Don't worry about Nick.
Okay.
He's not listening. I mean,
he's
worry
the
about
boss.
Nick, but I'm just telling
Okay,
you right
I
now.
was going to say, well, I worry about Nick because that's my boss.
Yeah,
though,
but I'm just saying he's not worried.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I mean, he was listening earlier.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's listening right now.
Okay, cool. Well, even if he
So
was,
go
you know
get
what?
him.
I'm going to say Brent told me to. Okay, so
You
Brent.
got a lot of leverage in this building. You're talking to higher-ups and stuff. I mean, heck.
Yeah. If you only knew the higher-ups that I was really talking up, and you can really hear the definition of the term leverage. That's all
High
I'm gonna
leverage
say.
situation. We bring in Austin Lane.
Here we go. Go over the top on him. All right, so Brent, Case, we ready to roll, man? We got the graphics up and everything like that. Ready to do this? The thumbs are up. I love to see that thumb, man, because you know it's go time. So, Brent, what day is this for Shock Your Mock?
23.
You know, and you know how I
Michael
roll.
Jordan.
And by the way, yesterday was the anniversary of Larry Bird saying that he played against God when Michael Jordan dropped, 60 on him? I saw that on Twitter.
Wow.
Larry Bird called Michael Jordan God, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Yeah, when Michael Jordan called Larry Bird,
buckets.
Hey, what do you think about Larry Bird? Yeah, he's all right, man. I mean, you know, he shoots. It is what it is. Can't dunk, but it's all good. But now let's get the Shock Your Mock. Let's the focus at hand. So if you look at this mock draft, I got to preface it by saying this, Brent. And like I was saying, we're, 20-something days into this thing. I got to keep it fresh. I got to keep it exciting, okay? It's always something new on Shock Your Mock because I like the people to interact here and I like to do some new things. This kid today that posted his mock goes by the name Maxildelic at Max Miller, but Miller, there's a 3 instead of the E, you know, so it's unique. One of those kids, you know what I'm saying? One of those kids. Yeah,
One of those kids.
And if you look at his profile picture, which you're not seeing here, and thank God you don't see it here because it's just going to upset you, he's dressed as Gardner Minshew on Halloween. Now, that's cool and everything, but Brent, in his bio, it says Ole Miss Slim and then Skull Jags, which Skull might be a modern kid. What I'm trying to say is this kid is a millennial. Now,
we don't speak the same language.
We don't speak millennial. Right now, technically, I'm a millennial, if you think about it.
Why don't you speak it?
But I don't speak millennial. So with that being said, in order to tailor to at Max_Miller with the 3, super annoying, his language, I'm going to break this down today as millennial would. Okay, Brent, now you got 2 16-year-old kids.
I do.
I have a 6-year-old, so I don't really know all the millennial vernacular, if you will. But I do know one thing. They don't care a lot about anything, really. It seems like, just whatever, dude. It is what it is, man. Cool. So this is the kind of vibe that I'm going to bring today.
This is coming
for
way
Shock Your
better
Mock.
from you saying all this stuff than me get off your lawn guy saying
Why?
all this about millennials.
Why? Well, like I said,
because you're
I'm
a millennial. So
all right.
Okay.
But this is how we
So
operate,
this is
though.
like-
It's whatever, man.
This
It's
is
chill.
Shock Your Mock.
Whatever,
cares?
dude. What is this? What is it, day 23 you said? It is what it is, man. So here we go. Max Miller with a 3 in it, I guess. Whatever. Pick number 1, Trevor Lawrence. It's picks 100. The Jags, this fan base, they're thirsty for a legit quarterback, and Lawrence could be that guy. So, Brent, it's going to be lit this year, man. It's going to be lit with Trevor Lawrence,
It's going to be lit.
You know what I'm saying, bro? So, yeah, congratulations. Get this guy's T-shirt, man, or do whatever you want to do, Brent. Pick 25, Trevon Merrick, safety, Texas Christian University. Pro Football Focus gave this guy a B-, and I've said this a lot. Pro Football Focus is pretty basic. When it comes to websites now, they're run by AWS, and that's lit for sure. But Pro Football Focus sucks. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Trevon Merrick is a draft need alert, and it's goals AF, by the way. So quick hit that draft need alert button. There it is. And it's so goals AF. I can't state this enough. Like, you need a safety, so you might as well roll with this. And Max Miller with a 3 in it, super annoying, understands that. The way that Trevon Merrick can cover multiple types of receivers, so fleek, so off the chain. Pick 33, we're going Elijah Moore. And I'll be honest, man, Elijah Moore out of Mississippi. Keep in mind, this kid's from Mississippi, or he went to school there in Ole Miss, so he's a little biased with this stuff, man. But Elijah Moore, I got to clap back on a little bit, because this one, you're a little biased here, sir, right? So let's go ahead and take a vibe check real quick if you want to. I don't care if you don't. And let's see take this Ole Miss fandom out of it, and let's see what the best need is for the Jaguars. Now, yeah, Elijah Moore is intriguing. Some people are comparing him to Antonio Brown, but he's a slot guy, and only a slot guy right now. Now, he could add to his skill set later on, but I feel like there's other guys in this position right now where that can play more than one thing in terms of being in the slot. I get it. It could be Jomo. By the way, Jomo, the joy of missing out, in case you didn't know, dude.
Thanks for the
you know what I'm saying?
on
You know what I'm
some of
saying?
these.
That's whatever, Brent. But right now, he's
still
only
stuck
playing
on
in the
fleek.
slot. Does he have the skill set to play outside? Big question mark, man. At number 33, what are we even doing here? Pick 45, Pat Freiermuth. You know, we talk about this dude a lot. In terms of position, Freiermuth is a tight end bay. Hit the draft bay alert, please. Hit the draft need bay alert. It's just the same button that you've been doing, or don't. I really don't care, man. I'm just, I'm trying to buy some time. Draft bay alert if you got it. It's cool. Whatever, man. That's the draft bay alert. We got a draft bay alert going on for Pat Freiermuth. Jacksonville could definitely be turned if Pat Freiermuth ends up being who we think he could be. Let's get another vibe check, though, because with Pat Freiermuth comes the fun fact of the day. I'll be honest, man. Like, this guy doesn't really give me a lot to go off of. Pat Freiermuth played for the Penn State Nittany Lions, and there's your vibe check, Pat Freiermuth fun fact of the day. Let's keep on going, Brent. Marvin Wilson.
I think this would have worked on April 20th as well. That was yesterday.
I mean, that's what millennials do. But and by the way, yeah, it was yesterday, wasn't it? We didn't mention that at all, man.
420 perfection.
Yeah.
I'm shocked you're
by the way, from my family to yours, happy 420 everybody yesterday. I'm just kidding. I'm not. Pick number 65, Marvin Wilson. This mock draft's straight up corny. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's corny right now. This is an overreach to me. Marvin Wilson could easily go day 3. You're taking him in the 3rd round. Whack.
Got a B+.
That's whack. Oh, yeah. And the B+ from Pro Football Focus, powered by AWS, but I doubt it this time. Not very fleek. Definitely whack. Pick 106, Tay Gowan from cornerback. Cornerback UCF. I immediately don't like this guy because I kept on typing Taylor Gowan on Instagram, and it was some girl that's a photographer. So you have to type in Tay Gowan.
Yeah.
Hey, Tay, commit to the name. Just call it Taylor. You know what I'm saying, man?
Tay.
Yeah, go ahead and give yourself a vibe check. NFL Network is straight trolling on their website right now because there's no comparison to who this guy relates to.
Tay Gowan.
Yeah, no comparison.
One of a kind.
I guess he's super unique, as all millennials are, as we know. Kendrick. Oh, man, I'm getting too hyped up. My bad, Brent. Let me chill out a little more because I don't care about
this down
because I don't care about anything. Pick 130. Kendrick Green, guard, Illinois. Didn't know Illinois had college football players.
Is this the basketball guy?
This could be the first guy drafted in Illinois history. I have no idea. His NFL comparison, once again, NFL Network is straight up trolling this dude. Isaac Summerlou is his comparison. So you know what that means? No idea. You know who Isaac Summerlou is?
Hey, you have him on your fantasy team?
No, I don't. And you know what? I'm dead. All right? I'm dead. As the kids say. Seriously, I can't even right now with this mock draft. Your mock draft is looking extra sus. Extra sus.
I get that. That's short for suspect, folks.
Boom. You nailed it, Brent. we're at pick 145, and we're not slaying right now, King. Bye, Felicia. Where's the edge rush? Like, we haven't addressed the edge yet. Interior defensive line addressed Marvin Wilson. I can't come along with you on this one, man. But we got Kylan Hill, Mississippi State. He could be a pass catcher if he wanted to be. Whatever, man. Ken Yeba, tight end Mississippi. It's definitely a draft bay alert with Kenny Yeba, and then Justin Rice rounding it up, linebacker, Arkansas State. Overall, man, listen, it is what it is. If you like it, Brent, you like it. I think it's, I don't think it's on point. I think this guy's got to do a major vibe check about how he goes about his mock draft in the future. But it is what it is, man. I don't care. So do what you do and say what you got to say, and it is what it is.
Millennials just don't care. The millennial edition.
Yeah, man, it's whatever.
Shock your mock. I think you went a little beyond the age of millennial at times.
Oh, yeah? Like older or younger?
Both.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to cover all bases.
I know, you're covering the wide range.
And in retrospect, the 421 would have been perfect for that. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but yeah, we're good. We're
That's
good.
all right. We'll just, heck, millennials probably think it's 420 again today.
It's 420 every day, as they say, Brent. Yeah. So there you go. Get shocked.
What is
Or did
fleek?
you? Fleek? It's lit.
Kids say that?
It's lit. It's 100, Brent.
So, like, lit.
It's on fleek.
I kind of feel like
And by the way,
lit is not cool millennial talk, right? Millennial, do you know millennial age is 23 to 38?
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't feel
Does
that.
not feel like it. I don't feel like a millennial. Now, some things I do, I'm sure, are kind of millennial-ish, but did I type in words that 16-year-old teenagers say on Google? Yes, I did. And did I find 40 words? Yes, I did. And did I incorporate about 30 of those words in the thing? Yes, I
was
did.
wondering because I feel like I've heard that in my house quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. For
Especially
sure.
by Felicia.
Dude, but the one of Jomo, Joya missing out, that's a real thing, man. Jomo. Yeah. Fear of Jomo.
I think we have to go back to that segment.
Yes.
And there should be a secondary contest of how many terms you use. It's like a game of boggle.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think I used at least 20.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. So
I
there you
like
go.
the effort.
It wasn't, to tell you the truth, there wasn't that much effort.
Well, I mean, 23 different times you got to do this.
I did. Yeah.
If we could have pivoted quickly in this segment,
yes,
we would have done like Casey Kasem.
I know, man.
Edition.
I know.
You could still play that. That might be kind of cool.
All right. Do a Casey Kasem.
A little long distance
hey, keep in mind,
dedication.
Keep in mind, I still have the trump card, too. I saw the Tim Kirchin just waiting to be unleashed.
Oh my God. I don't know if you can do that for
my
12 minutes.
Oh, no, my voice would be shot.
But if you get like one from like overseas especially, or like out west.
Oh, yeah.
Long distance dedication.
Dear Casey. Okay.
That could be good.
Okay. I'll see what I
keep
can do
that
with
in your
it.
back pocket.
I'll see
You
what I
got
can do
about
with
a
it.
week left.
Brent, it's a marathon, not a sprint, I'll tell you that much.
So who was the person?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was Miller with a...
It was Max _ Miller with a 3, dude.
Max Miller.
It is what
underscore.
it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, Max Miller with a 3.
Yep. Tell him, Brent.
Your mock was just shocked.
But it was not 100. 100. Sorry. I said 100. 100. My bad. 100.
Here's what else is 100.
Go on.
Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick, courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meetthepick to register each day through draft night. No purchase required to enter or win. For eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meetthepick. It's happening in a little bit over a week. We're now Mark Brunell days away from the NFL draft here in Jacksonville, and that is about to happen next Thursday, just 8 days away. Ton of draft coverage. By the way, right here on ESPN, you can listen to the draft in its entirety next Thursday night as the Jaguars take Trevor Lawrence. And who else will be that pick? Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke talked to the media today. What else did they say? Football at 5 on the way. Next, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Former Washington football tight end and 7-year NFL veteran Jordan Reed said he's retiring from the game because of lingering issues that he has from multiple concussions that he suffered throughout his career. And also in the NFL, despite having what he would consider an off year, the Pittsburgh Steelers have given Mike Tomlin a 3-year extension. According to Stephen A. Smith, he deserved it.
You look around the National Football League and there's a whole bunch of coaches with far more suspect resumes.
that have jobs in the NFL. So when I look at it from that perspective, I don't want to hear about Mike Tomlin, being under pressure any more than, what he's normally under. You need to win when you're in Pittsburgh. You need to be a respectable team. There are elements that he can address, but in the end, there is no question. The record speaks for itself. 145, 78, and 1.
Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The biggest names in sports, coming to your mornings.
Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin, there were so many expectations about Baker Mayfield coming into this season, but what impressed you most about him?
One of the things I love about Baker is how he works. He's a gym rat. He grinds. He wants to be great, and he understands that there's no secret. You can't snap your fingers and it just happens.
The biggest names in sports, every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
It's Good Morning at Moe's in St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1. It's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. Made to order food in the drive-thru. Hot, fresh breakfast on the go. Make it a better morning with Moe's Southwest Grill. Start your days with the home wrecker breakfast burrito. St. Augustine location only, served daily at 6 a.m. Moe's is ready to serve you breakfast. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
Hey, boss.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, so I've been meaning to ask you, how's your mom like a new smartphone?
She loves it. Got like 5,000 pictures of her cat already.
And how's the Safe Touch security app working?
Now that thing's amazing. Anytime she goes somewhere, she can just open up the app and check on her house.
That's why they say with Safe Touch, you're never home alone and you're never away from home.
Yeah, the other day she was at the nail salon when she opened up the Safe Touch app and caught Mr. Tinkles living up to his name.
Wow. Never away from home. I miss the good old days of casing a house so you know when the owners are away.
Yeah, well, with Safe Touch, those days are gone.
Good for your mom, bad for us crooks.
Just another reason to stick to the Crooks Are Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Simple as a flip phone.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, it's me, your cousin, from Boston. I'm on the radio doing ads for Sam Adams. Now I'll be known as the Sam Adams guy instead of the dude who fell in the quarry. Sam Adams Boston Lager is crisp and refreshing. Which is why I bring a six-pack wherever I go, except the movies. Anymore. Sam Adams, from Boston with love. Here's the legal part. Watch how fast I can read. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Drink responsibly. Now, is that 30 seconds? Are we even close?
Max. I can't wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. That's not where I am. I am right where I want to be.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Getting ready for football at 5. We've got some more Urban Meyer conversation, what he had to say today about the upcoming NFL draft, his first NFL draft. How much of a factor is that this is the first go-around for Urban? It was in free agency. It now will be for the draft. They'll have to lean on people. How much does he trust everybody around that building now that he's worked with them for a few months? And he says it. He's leaning on his offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, obviously Trent Baalke. What would you be surprised the Jaguars would do in this draft? What's the surprise move? Is it taking a running back at 25? Is it you name it. And I don't mean quarterback, okay? Trevor Lawrence is the guy. But what else out of that could the Jags surprise us that we're not seeing on mock drafts or anything else? Let's discuss it when we get back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 rolls on here on a Wednesday. Football at 5 coming up next.
Ever finally get around to trying something and it's so much better than you expected, where you're mentally kicking yourself for not doing it sooner or wondering where it's been your whole life? That's how Griffin customers feel about their Florida-rated AC. They even tell me,
we're never going back to regular AC.
And it's the same for our Florida-rated water heaters, too. It's so much better, our customers wonder why no one told them about it before. Well, we fix what others can't. Tired of having to run a shower or faucet for 3 minutes before you actually get hot water? We can fix that.
Nice.
Tired of Jacksonville's swampy hard water hurting your appliances and hair? We can fix it.
Naturally.
Tired of a tank water heater going bad every 5 to 8 years or running out of hot water?
Yep.
Griffin can fix that big time.
Oh, yeah. I never knew I could have hot water as soon as I turn on the tap.
And my hair could be so much healthier. And my appliances can last longer.
Well, you can, but only if you call
GriffinService.com.
1430-261-1250-697.
Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at smoothieking.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
I'm getting the vaccine so that I can travel and be safe.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create Vax904.com. Visit Vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Allstate is known for quality insurance, but you might not know them for low rates. That's about to change. With Allstate, you can save up to 25% when you bundle your home and auto. You know what else you might not know? The chicken came before the egg. With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company, Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company, and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Hey, it's Coos from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jax.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. After 9 weeks out of action with a calf strain and tendinosis in his right leg, Anthony Davis may play for the Lakers tomorrow night against the Mavericks. He'll probably be limited to about 15 minutes on the floor. 24 hours after the Derek Chauvin verdict, reflections on the power of sports to spark social change. NFL Players Association Chief DeMaurice Smith.
When we are leveraging the same business relationships to get fantastic television contracts, when we leverage that power against TV networks in order to get the same results in our communities, that's when power speaks.
DeMaurice Smith on Key J&Z. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni and GM Howie Roseman won't say that Jalen Hurts is the team's starting quarterback. The only other QB on the roster right now is Joe Flacco. The IOC says athlete protests and political messages will not be allowed at the Summer Games in Tokyo. A survey of athletes shows that 70% feel those protests are not appropriate.
What? Just 15 seconds to talk about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea? That smooth taste of real brewed iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol? What? We started already? Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for it in the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah, I talked mostly. I've been talking to the guy to my left about we've had a couple dry runs. We're going to have a couple dry runs again. I'm a control nut and organizational nut, so I want to make sure that I want to know where people are sitting. I want to know what we're going to be looking at on the screens, and Trent's been great, and this is the first time personnel of this organization going to do it, so we're going to be on point.
That is Urban Meyer today. Organizational freak or organizational nut or something like that, I think is what he said. It's funny. It kind of reminds me of when he says that stuff. We're going to do kind of like a run through, a dry run. It's very similar to what we kind of do in our profession. I'm sure I would say a lot of people do it in presentations, and heck, that's what's called a walkthrough at your level. Do you do that in MMA, by the way? Do you get in the cage and kind of visualize and maybe like whether it's a sparring partner or your coach would be, hey, this guy might do this if he does this? Do you play that stuff out like that?
No, without a doubt, yeah. But you have to be careful with that a little bit, just because if you get too infatuated with what you think your opponent's going to do, and then he doesn't do that, then like you're so accustomed to seeing a certain look where he doesn't give that to you, and it's like, now what do I do? But basically the night before, like when you have your weigh-ins, I always go in the cage and kind of do like a little, just a little shadow boxing session, just kind of visualize everything and get a feel for the cage. That's the biggest part, just getting used to the cage.
I got you. Your surroundings. Did you do that on the field a lot? Did you go out during warm-ups when you would arrive in, say, San Francisco, go from the field? Like you see Brady does it a lot. They actually, because a lot of the preview shows will have Brady walk in the field, but you see guys, and it almost looks like Brady is visualizing on the field, on that field. Now, the field doesn't change in terms of the dimensions. But for whatever reason, maybe it's the background, maybe it's the colors in that background. It does look like I've seen Brady, and probably a lot of players, go out there and kind of visualize, okay, I'm in the red zone right now, 18-yard line. Here's what I want to see happen, like a play executed. It feels that way.
For sure. Especially being a creature of habit like I was. I mean, I always had like my pre-game routine and everything of what I visualized was going to happen on the field. Now, when I was in Kansas City, I just sat on the bench the whole time because I visualized me sitting on the bench because I'm, 275 pounds playing a 3 technique.
I did that a lot in my career, too.
No, but all jokes aside.
Warming up with the left fielder, I did a very good job of visualizing that.
For sure. But no, I definitely had my pregame routine, and it's funny, in Jacksonville, and I think I've shared this story before a little bit, but when I was done with it, I'd go through like all my stances and my get-offs, and I would work my hands and all that stuff. I would hit the goalpost, like I would get like in my stance, come off my stance, hit the goalpost like 3 times, and then I would find Zach Potter, who'd get warmed up as well, and then we would have a dunk contest on the goalpost. So this is back when you could actually dunk on the goalpost. Yeah. So we each had like 3 dunks we could do. So we would try to do like our best dunk on the goalpost, and then we did it from there. By the way, I never lost.
Never
lost. Call me LeVar Ball having hype. Never lost. Undefeated.
Potter listens to the show sometimes.
Good. Potter will tell you.
Call in, Potter. 904-362-9901.
Potter will tell you.
If you debate that with Austin Lane,
Potter will tell you.
He's got to be out in Nebraska still, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Living it up.
I think he's out there.
Yeah, he's a former black shirt. He's a defensive end.
Good dude.
Yeah, great dude. Yeah, it's funny.
Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey here on a Friday, football at 5. So anyway, with all of that, by the way, visualization in golf and all sports, I actually think it's not taught early enough.
No,
in my opinion. Like I say it to the kids. Some of the stuff you say to the kids is like they're just not ready for it, right?
Sure.
Like, I mean, Ty, you say it probably. Kaylee is like, yeah, whatever, Dad.
Total way of thinking with millennials. Millennial, whatever.
But I mean, and some of it's you can really put it in your your plan or not. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I can still I used to visualize all the time hitting wise, and I'd have just like a line drive over second base into the gap as my visualization. Probably why I didn't hit a lot of triples and home runs. But I probably should have visualized hitting one off the, off the scoreboard. That would have been a little bit better. But I bunted a lot. So. But anyway, I can still remember that'd be my visualization, and I don't even know if it was a taught thing. I just kind of did it. But now there's so much research that goes into showing in all facets of life that especially in sport, that if you visualize yourself and you do it, if you visualize yourself taking a golf shot 10 times, is a better chance you're going to execute that than if you don't.
This is one of the things that I wished I would have picked up when I played football, because, visualization and all that, like positive, reinforcement, that wasn't that big back then. I do it a lot with fighting now, just because obviously when you're fighting, you can only train so much before it wear and tears in your body. So it has to be a lot of mental preparation as well. And that's where, the visualization comes in. I wish I would have had more of that in football, because I think it does make a huge difference. No, I'm not like a therapist or a sports performance specialist, but I just feel like there's so much to be had from doing like that positive visualization kind of stuff.
Well, it gets us back to Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke, this relationship in that draft room where things get heightened and it's go time. Yeah. It will be unlike anything Urban Meyer has done. I mean, listen, signing day, but you got a good feel at what's going to land your way, who's going to commit to you.
Yeah.
It's not like this.
Yeah.
And so Urban Meyer says, hey, they'll be ready to roll on it. Did you, hearing some of the stuff today, I thought this was kind of all Urban. I was like, Urban's got that board. He built that board. He's going to go grab that pick. He's going to say, I want this guy, value, need, whatever it is. I want that guy. Hey, Trent, you agree? Yeah, I think so, Urban. Boom. I get less of a feeling that it's like that. I don't think we give the GMs, the scouting staff, all that enough credit in this kind of situation where they really do make a lot of the choices and have a lot of influence here. Even though certainly the head coach, and I think even in this case the owner, will be on the same page as them. I've thought all along in my mind that Urban was going to be like, bam, I want that guy. Okay, we're taking him.
Yeah.
I think less of that as this thing has gone along and as we've talked to Baalke and Meyer the last couple of days.
To me, it comes down to relationships and understanding what each guy brings to the table. Now, I'm not sure how extensive and how deep the relationship with Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke goes, but we don't know what type of coach Urban Meyer is yet, and Baalke doesn't know either at the NFL level. Now, we have preconceived notions. He's going to probably run a hard training camp, obviously, right? He's going to want tough-minded individuals, guys that finish after the whistle, all those kind of those blue-collar guys. That's the kind of guy that Urban Meyer wants. I think we can all establish that. Cool. But we don't know, to be more specific, what type of guy he's truly looking for in terms of his coaching philosophy. Now, once again, we know what he is from college, but we don't know the pro coach, Urban Meyer, and neither does Trent Baalke. So to answer your question, who's going to have the final say, who's going to have more, cachet in terms of who's getting selected, I still think it's the Urban Meyer show. I truly do, because until there's a better understanding, I feel like, from Baalke and Urban Meyer of what they're looking for, you lean towards the advantage of the coach a little more, because let's be honest, the coach spends the most time with these people, right? These players. So, yeah, I think Baalke's going to have some say and stuff. He's going to help out, but I think it's going to be Urban Meyer's final call.
Yeah, but that's interesting to me, and I'm not sure we'll understand that full dynamic or ever really get a glimpse of that dynamic. Maybe the article that comes out, if somebody is on the inside, some of the war room stuff, maybe we get an inkling of it, but Baalke and that staff have done a lot of the work, and Urban's been right there.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt he's leaning on him. I think that's one thing we learned. There's no doubt. It's not like, hey, I know everything. Mm-hmm. That goes back to the start of the show we were talking about. Check it out on the Action Sports Jax on ESPN690 podcast. But it's not like, hey, I know everything. I'm vulnerable here. I got to lean on people that know stuff, that's been around this, that's done this before, which, again, is an okay way. Certainly to do it. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey here. Let's hear from Urban Meyer again on speed and trying to get more speed on the football field. And as you can tell from hearing what Urban Meyer says, it's going to be a tenet of his organization wherever he is.
That's every year. That will be a nonstop cycle of speed. Speed wins. We've addressed it with Dorsett, Marvin Jones, Agnew off the top of my head, and we plan to that'll be a cycle the Jaguars always looking for speed.
You know, that not a surprise, but we've been given two real big hints. Okay, we already know one thing. Trevor Lawrence coming to Jacksonville. Correct. We've been given two other really big hints at what they want to do as you start to think about 25, 33, and 45. He said speed for a while now. We've been stuck on speed. He also admits that speed doesn't always mean 4.28 speed, but it means playing fast. So I think we've got to distinguish between the two. He also admitted or today, he said, hey, we were void of the big play last year, and that's not all because of lack of speed, but speed certainly helps. But he said in their look back on this football team from a 1-15 year, they didn't hit the big play enough. So it's a combination of things, but getting the big play in 2021 will be a big part of their success.
Absolutely. You know, and the other takeaway that I got from Urban Meyer and his comments was, you know, he expects these guys in the first couple rounds to come in and play it right away, to contribute. I think he was the exact verbiage. Contribute.
Yes, especially the first 4 picks.
Yes. Now, that can mean special teams, obviously, and that can even mean, if you want to get technical, maybe pushing starters to, you know, practice better, practice all that stuff. But I think from the first 4 picks, these are guys that you expect to be starters day one, or at least push for a starting job. So, you know, the wide receiver is the position to me. When you hear speed, you think wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Right? And you think of like running back as well, but let's stay away from running back real quick. It's the wide receiver
I think
position.
wide receiver, running back, and linebacker.
Yeah.
When I think speed.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep, that's definitely fair. But I definitely think of because being the offensive-minded guy that Urban Meyer is, you get the sense that he's talking about the wide receiver position. You know, there's a lot of guys out there, especially with these pro days. Like I was looking up Tutu Atwell today. Guy ran like a 4.3, you know, and decent size. Like there's a lot of guys out there that have that speed.
What is fast anymore?
I know. I know.
Everybody's fast.
No, and you're not lying there. So I think when we're in the second rounds, like, I don't know, do they take a wide receiver first round, 25? We'll see. But I think even in the second round, regardless of who's available, there's going to be somebody there that I think is going to, you know, be the apple of Urban Meyer's eye, if you will, and he might pull the trigger on that dude.
You just mentioned he thinks impact players with the first 4 picks or so. Casey, if we can play some of the sound from Urban Meyer, I think he mentions that. Listen to it in its context, Urban Meyer this afternoon.
Absolutely. I see that we not only have to make those picks, we got to add value, immediate value to our team. That's the way Trent, myself, and our coaching staff look. That's how important these picks are. So we're looking at these picks to make instant impact, especially those first 4 picks.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what you were just referencing, right? And what's interesting to me there, Austin, is if you can make immediate impact, does that rule out like an offensive lineman? Right? And you've done that a lot. You know, in your Shock Your Mock, you said, hey, 25 offensive lineman, really, where's he going to play?
Yeah.
Does that rule out cornerback unless it's a slot corner? Because, well, they got Shaquille Griffin and C.J. Henderson. I don't think it rules out wide receiver because there's always room to get another wide receiver, it feels like, on the field, especially when you don't have tight ends.
And in terms of impact, they can have a lot of impact on a game, a wide receiver. So, no, wide receiver is definitely still in.
If you could pick right now 4 players that you could 4 positions that you could identify, well, really 3 more because one's going to be Trevor Lawrence. So give me 3 players, not players, I'm sorry, positions of major impact that I can make from the get-go. Again, this eliminates offensive line. This probably eliminates corner unless you want to go on a limb and go slot corner. What 3 positions are going to be here in Jacksonville? I know we're going to go defensive line, right?
Interior, if you want to be more specific, interior defensive line. I mean, 3-4. So, yeah, defensive line, safety, wide receiver.
So, wide receiver over edge?
Yes.
But what about tight end?
I mean, that's the obvious one.
Well, but tight end probably fits.
Okay,
so
yeah,
I'd probably say tight end over wide receiver.
No, I mean, tight end's number 1. In my opinion,
well,
like that's the biggest.
You just got to get it somewhere. It doesn't mean you're going to pick it first. But if you say 25, 33, 45, we are picking impact players.
Yes.
If Urban Meyer says, I want those 3 guys, just like Trevor Lawrence, to make immediate impact, well, then tight end probably has to be on the list.
Yep.
Like you said, interior defensive line certainly could be on the list.
Yes.
Edge is a candidate to be on the list.
It is, but I'm still a believer in Chase on, so
safety,
that takes a back seat.
Although you don't
sure.
need that because you have Daniel Thomas, you have Jenkins, and you have Jared Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you don't.
And they
it's
can
not
be upgraded.
void, and they can be upgraded. So
Yes.
it certainly could come into play. And then wide receiver is on the list as well, except right now it's hard to get on the field on the first few snaps as a wide receiver for the Jags because they're running out Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, and Laviska Shenault, it appears.
Yeah.
So you better have a special skill set to get on the field as a wide receiver.
No, without a doubt. And I think if they do get that guy in the first 4 picks, it will be this. But I mean, to me, it's going to be the short, speedy guy who's going to be the gadget guy. That can have an impact, right? Like we always, there was the rumors, and Steven always used to call in Curtis Samuel. Okay, now is Curtis Samuel a guy that commands 10 targets a game? Absolutely not. But when he got his ball in his hands last year for the Carolina Panthers, there was an impact there. It looked different. It was against the grain of what you're accustomed to with the Carolina Panthers. So, that was the impact there. Now, is it worth the first-round pick? I don't think so. Is it worth $12, $13 million a year? I don't think so. But if that's available to you in the second round, well, then why not?
Yeah, I think that was a very interesting soundbite from Urban to say we want the 25, 33, and 45 to be instant impact picks. That, to me, eliminates some positions, like we were just saying. To me, it eliminates linebacker. It eliminates offensive lineman. It eliminates corner. Again, you could squeeze by me there on the slot corner, but I still think it kind of eliminates corner. I think it puts in question safety a little bit, puts in question wide receiver, but it doesn't eliminate them. Third down back, is that called immediate impact? Probably.
Yeah.
So that could come into play. Very interesting in that regard. Hey, let's get to the line. Florida Sportsman Fishing Report right now with Rick Riles, each and every day, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. A beautiful day here on this Wednesday in Jacksonville. If you had picked 25, 33, and 45, what kind of fish would you fill them in with?
Well, let's see. Pick number 1 would have gone to a blue marlin. So down around pick 25, I might be into kingfish by then. That's a long ways down for me. So I'm not a real big kingfish guy. Pretty good day today, Brent. Not so great out in the blue water. For whatever reason, our mahi that had shown up about 4 days ago have now backed off, and the guys had kind of a tough time finding them. I know Cap Robert Simon had one real nice one. It seemed like everybody had 1 or 2. The bottom fishing was better. The triggerfish are biting very well, and the vermilions very well. Close to the shore, there's a handful of cobia around. There's some on the beach, not many. A few manta rays with a few cobia on them. Roger Walker and I fished them today. We did not catch any. Caught a few sheephead on an inshore wreck, but that was kind of the extent of the day. Now, back inshore further into our creeks, it's been very, very good. The redfish are wide open. We're having a great redfish season, and today was another good, very early morning on trout. Now, we get a little more breeze tomorrow and more still on Friday before it starts. It might be a little better Saturday. I don't see us having boats offshore this weekend. It may be Monday, but you can count on one thing. We'll be back tomorrow to check it again with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing.
Thanks, Rick. Have a great night, man. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Brent.
That's Rick Riles, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Listen each and every day, 5:15 right here at Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. For all you fishermen out there, fisherwomen out there as well, 7 o'clock on Saturday mornings right here on ESPN 690, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Rick will give you the week recap and the weekend ahead at 7 a.m. every Saturday morning on ESPN 690. We still have Steven on the line. We'll get to him before we break. Let's get to Steven. I think he has a question about the defense. What's happening today, man?
Hey, not too much. How about you guys?
We are good.
Same old stuff, man.
When you guys were talking about edge rusher, Austin mentioned edge rushers. I know it's not a super neat because I still have confidence in Chase on because he's actually going to get to play the position he has always played all of his life. But what about these other types of edge rushers? Like, for an example, would be Kwity Paye, Joseph Osai. You mentioned it the other day, Austin. Joe Tryon, the guys who actually have played the 5 technique, hand in the dirt, and then also standing up. Could you also consider those because they addressed a lot of the interior defensive line? Now, can you upgrade? Of course. Yes, you can. But you draft a high-level interior defensive line, he's still probably going to be put in a rotation behind Malcolm Brown and some of these other guys. But, I mean, if you go edge rusher there that could put hand in the dirt standing up, I mean, couldn't you also experiment with that, with getting one of these high-name guys at 25?
Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it. Well, what do you think?
So I'll say this part right here. When we talk about the edge, what do we know about it? We got Josh Allen and Caleb on Chase. I'm probably going to be the starters. Right now, I'm still a little confused with Jihad Ward because I don't know if he's going to be a tweener. I don't know. It depends how he comes into camp. Because by his size, you would think he's going to be like the 3. But I'm not sold quite yet. I'm not sure what Joe Cullen has planned for him. To me, what Jihad Ward might be is what Parnell McPhee was last year for the Ravens, where he comes in on like the runs, like
first and second down.
First, second down, and basically shuts the run down, just like McPhee did when he took Yannick Ngakoue out against the Tennessee Titans.
And then Chason goes in your lightning package or whatever.
Correct. So that could be a
NASCAR
possibility.
Package.
Yeah, that could be a possibility for sure. But I guess, I think Steve, what he's trying to say is, do we focus more on interior or edge, right? That's kind of the basis of what he's saying here. I'm going to say this. I'm confident right now with Caleb on Chase and on Josh Allen on the edge. Interior, you're going to have Malcolm Brown as the nose. You're going to have Ross as a defensive tackle. And then that other side, Devon Hamilton, Adam Gotsis maybe, Doug Costin. How confident are you in that other side? So I'm more confident right now that with Caleb on Chase on and what he could be, that I'm probably more confident right now with Doug, Costin, Devon Hamilton, or Adam Gotsis being that starter 3 technique playing a 2 gap. So I would focus a little more. I mean, focus on both of them. You can't have enough depth. But I'd probably focus a little more on interior first and then move away out to the edge, unless there's a guy you can't pass on.
Well, when you're reading all that stuff, one thing comes to mind. You just have to think like this. In early October, when you're missing a guy or a Chason goes down for a couple games, who's coming up to help?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be that person? Same thing with the line. One of those guys going. I mean, you can't just hope and pray that these guys are going to be ready to go for 17 games.
Yeah.
Got to have some more depth than that.
For sure.
Jags fans, you can win a chance to meet the pick courtesy of TIAA Bank. Just visit TIAABank.com/meet the pick to register each day through draft night. 8 more days until the draft. No purchase required. To enter or win, for eligibility and other details, see the official rules at TIAABank.com/meet the pick. We'll be right back. Devontae Smith, 166 pounds, soaking wet. Stop eating salad and grab some shakes.
Hit the panic button.
What do you think about that? Next on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Cool overnight into clear skies, dropping into the upper 40s. It'll be sunny and cool, but nice on Thursday with a high of 72. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss the buy one, get one free on wedding bands through this Sunday.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road in a new 2021 Toyota. So rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now, Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering.
For the ones who get it done.
It's a calling that's kept us free. It's a place to belong. What's the calling? Being a member of the Air Force Reserve. It's doing a job that makes a difference, serving your community and your country. It's part-time service where the impact is full-time. What's your calling? Air Force Reserve. To find out about local job opportunities with the Air Force Reserve at MacDill Air Force Base or Eglin Air Force Base, call 800-257-1212 or go to afreserve.com. This message is sponsored by the Air Force Reserve, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Sir, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? Because I want to go to a concert with my friends in a full arena.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create vax904.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
Small businesses continue to face many challenges resulting from the prolonged pandemic. Business owners are working hard to maintain customers, adjust operations, and retain key personnel. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to offer their assistance. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. In addition to ongoing mentoring, we are conducting webinars on topics that can provide timely advice. Visit jacksonville.score.org today for links with more information.
Vacations are coming back, so before you hit the road, get your vehicle checked out by the pros at Honda of the Avenues. Honda of the Avenues Service Department continues to get 5 stars for their certified technicians using certified parts. The new Express Service Center is now open, so stop by if you need an oil change, tires, battery, wiper blades, or if you need any repairs to your vehicle. Awarded the 2021 Dealer Rater Consumer Satisfaction Award. Honda of the Avenues, easy to find on Phillips Highway south of 295 or at hondaoftheavenues.com. The Honda Giant.
Oh, pollen season is still hanging around. I'll take care of my allergies, but who's going to take care of keeping my truck clean? I've been going to Prime Car Wash, full service interior and exterior. And while you wait, spacious lounges, even child-friendly lounges, Starbucks coffee, iPads, Wi-Fi. Before you know it, your car or truck is cleaned. I went to the Beach Boulevard location, and there's one on San Jose as well. Give it a try. You can even get a membership. Let Prime Car Wash take care of your vehicle. Prime Car Wash. Clean inside, clean outside.
It's Good Morning at Moe's in St. Augustine only at 312 and US 1. It's the only Moe's in the country serving breakfast burritos. Full breakfast menu only at the St. Augustine location. Made to order food in the drive-thru. Hot, fresh breakfast on the go. Make it a better morning with Moe's Southwest Grill. Start your days with the home wrecker breakfast burrito. St. Augustine location only, served daily at 6 a.m. Moe's is ready to serve you breakfast. Make it a better morning with Moe's.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jax on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
Never heard of what happened in Iowa yesterday, and I don't even know how to pronounce the name of it. Derecho.
Austin Lane.
Iowa State Cyclones. Should call them the Derechos. You can shorten it up, call them the Chos. Why not, man? I'm into it.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
And he's always been slim. I mean, it's kind of like watching Kevin Durant hoop, right? You know that this guy is smaller, but he understands how to use his body. If you see him get off of press coverage, if you see the way he uses space, the way he uses stems and straightens and head nods and routes, he understands how to get open.
That's a Devontae Smith analysis. Who was it?
I got nothing.
I don't think that was Foxworthy, was it?
Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark. My goodness, Brent. Should have got that. Devontae Smith, 166 pounds.
Dropping.
Will that drop him?
I mean, the speculation, at least on Twitter, and take that for what you want. is that could hurt him a little bit because teams could be obviously turned off now with his size and his ability to play a full NFL season.
I have got to be honest with you, okay? Before
Yes.
the wait.
Mhm.
I think I've said this before in the program, so this is not me like after the fact. That I have my curiosity, and this isn't me saying that the guy's going to be bad.
Sure.
My curiosity in this draft is twofold, really threefold, with three players. And one is Mac Jones, local guy. How has he climbed this high up in reality, or is it going to drop back down and there's some smoke screening going on? And I still think he's maybe the most fascinating player in this draft in the first round.
Sure.
Because he could go a variety of places, I think, and that pendulum could really swing. I have said countless times, I'm a big fan of Kyle Pitts. I wish the Jags get Kyle Pitts. I think he's going to be very good. But I also sense a slight bit of overhype on Kyle Pitts. I don't know what that means. Is that the difference between 6 Pro Bowls and the Hall of Fame? Or is that the difference between 6 Pro Bowls and a good tight end, but not a great tight end in the NFL? I don't know where that sits. I just sense there's a little bit of overhype on Kyle Pitts.
And you know how I feel about it? I'm excited to go to his Hall of Fame ceremony when he gets elected one day. I'm going to be announcing him, and you're going to be in the nosebleeds saying, I wish I would have bought him like Austin did.
And then my last one is Devontae Smith. He from December or late November through January and beyond. He just went zoom up that board, man. And he went to the Heisman. He wasn't even the Heisman mix. And all of a sudden, he was the runaway winner of the Heisman.
Yeah.
And then he was the best receiver on the board, maybe. And now he's a bona fide top 10 pick. And I'm watching a guy that we thought was 175 pounds, and I'm wondering, all right, now, I know he's good. I believe he's good. But is he worthy of taking a top 10 pick at 175 pounds? Well, then it comes in, he's 166 pounds, and I'm not a big measurable guy that's not going to, take him off my board. Yeah. I just really wonder about Devontae Smith. Not that can he be a good player, but is he a great player at the NFL level? Is he worthy of a top 10 pick? I think Jamar Chase is. I'm not so sure Devontae Smith is, and that's before even the weight came in.
How much does Ty weigh right now?
104.
So we're talking about a 2 tie and a half advantage right now for Devontae Smith, about a 2 tie and a half. See,
yeah, but Ty plays baseball.
No, I know. I'm trying to get because I'm literally trying to comprehend how big this guy is right now.
Ty might see 96 tonight from Bowmeister at Bowles.
Sure. Okay.
And if he gets hit by the pitch, I'm curious. And if it will go through his other side.
Way to speak it into existence. Way to speak it into existence.
I don't know about if Devontae Smith gets hit by a safety running 20 miles an hour across the middle.
Yeah. Man, so here's the thing, Brent. And I've commented on this so many times. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because when we're talking about Kyler Murray's size, I'm like, take away your preconceived notions of what a quarterback looks like. When we talk about his hand size, I'm like, really? Talking about a hand size? All those things, and it's what made Russell Wilson go in the 3rd round or whatever it was, because of his size. So, I hate that we have preconceived notions of what players should look like, what their numbers should look like, and all these things. Nevertheless, 166 pounds is 166 pounds.
You're concerned.
I think you'd be dumb if you weren't concerned. Or I don't want to say dumb. I think you'd be naive if you weren't concerned. At the same time, though, Brent, I've seen this guy play against the top college competition. And I've seen him come in and out of routes, burn guys, make guys look absolutely foolish out there. Literally be the game changer and take games over. I don't know, man. It's a risky move. I think that, if I'm drafting 15, 16, 17, and Devontae Smith is still there, I think I take him. I really do. And you know what? If he ends up being injury prone, if we can't put 20 good, pounds of muscle on him and he's stuck at 166 for the rest of his life, then it is what it is. But just everything that I've seen, the guy won a Heisman for crying out loud. All right? That means something. Now, if it's a quarterback, sometimes well, what does that mean? No, from a wide receiver position, that says something. So
he's a different game, though, in college.
I know, but what do we always talk about? The NFL game mirrors the college game more than ever before. And I think that Devontae Smith can have a successful NFL career. Can he stay healthy? That's the big question mark, but I'm still a believer, Brent. Long story short, My synopsis, I'm still a believer.
Okay, but here's the thing that's interesting to me on Devontae Smith. You just said something. If he's around 15, 16, 17, you're jumping all over it. Well, I would too.
Yeah.
My question is, at 7 are the Lions. At 8 are the Panthers.
Yeah.
At 9 is Denver interested. Or is he going to slip down? And maybe he was going to already, or maybe this might be more once and by the way, like this what happened in Indianapolis a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
So this is not new information to NFL teams. They already knew. Or is this one of the famous smoke screens that somebody pushed this out there because they really love him and they hope he drops, and that scares away a Carolina, a Detroit, somebody else that might pick him?
I'm just going to say this, especially at the wide receiver position in college, anytime a guy can take a game over, and I remember Randy Moss. Now, they are nothing similar in terms of size and stature, obviously, and skill set from Randy Moss to Devontae Smith. But I remember as a kid watching Randy Moss play for Marshall, and that nobody could stop him. He would literally just take over games. He was in the Heisman running for crying out loud as well. But nobody could stop Randy Moss. Now, once again, a completely different animal, a different beast than Devontae Smith. But I watched Devontae Smith, play on, the best team in college football, but play against some quality competition, some quality secondaries. And he torched him. He made him look absolutely foolish. Now, yeah, it's going to change at the pro level. I understand that. But from a talent perspective, what we've seen so far, I get size is something, but how can you not believe in that guy?
Yeah, listen, I'm not here to tell you he's a bad player. I'm not here to tell you he's going to be a failure in the NFL level. I'm just curious at him as a top 10 investment pick at 166 pounds. I think that's a little bit dangerous. Now, the comp to him is Marvin Harrison. But Marvin Harrison at playing, now listen, they can go put more weight on him, but Marvin Harrison was 180. Yeah. He was skinny and kind of thin, but he was 180. And Devontae Smith's a fantastic route runner. He's so smooth. But if you think of even guys like this day and age that are so fast, and we talk about speeds and 40 times, even like Tyreek Hill, right?
Well, keep
who
in mind,
is so fast, and nobody really, he's so shifty, but he's thick, right?
Yeah, but he also, Brent, he's 176 pounds.
Who, Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
But it's like a compact, it feels that way to me. It feels like I saw a picture of Mac Jones.
Put him out.
Well, you're right. You're right. But I'm just telling you, if you take a picture of Devontae Smith, I saw Mac Jones with a picture of Devontae Smith.
I know what you're saying.
And my first reaction was holy cow, he's little. It's the same reaction as when we saw Telvin Smith on the sideline at a Reigns game. Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh, he's so thin. He looks like that was my reaction when I saw that picture with Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. These are big times in investments. I'm not here to tell you he's a bad player. I think this is going to scare some teams away, that height. He played at once. Everybody had 175. Yeah. 166 versus 175 doesn't sound like much, but I think that could play a big role for some of these teams to put up that red flag.
We talked about what would happen if Kyle Pitts falls out of the top 10. Probably not going to happen, but if he fell out of the top 10, should Jacksonville trade up? We discussed the scenario if Penei Sewell, for some reason, was to fall out of the top 10, should the Jaguars trade up? If Smith falls out of the top 10, he's at 11 or 12, should Jacksonville make a move to get that speed, to get that playmaking ability, and go after him?
I like that question a lot. Let me counter question, because you'll be better at this than me.
Okay.
Does he change their offense?
Yes.
Or is he just another receiver? And no disrespect, do they already have that in DJ Chark and Marvin Jones? Or does he change your offense?
I think he changes the offense. I think he changed a fantastic wide receiving core of Alabama, and when Waddle gets hurt, we forgot all about Waddle, and it was the Smith show. I think he does change your offense. I think from the slot he can change it. I think from gadgets he can change it. So yes, I think Devontae Smith could change your offense.
Well, you answer that question. When you answer that question, if the Jaguars answer that question the same way, I probably have a cutoff time, like 14, 15, wherever it is. I'm not sure it's 11 or 12, but around 15, if he's there, then I'm starting to really make phone calls, because then that would interest me. I doubt it would happen. I think the reality that happened is I doubt it happens. But if you can answer the question with, if you get Devontae Smith now, that really changes the offense for the Jags. Gives them that many more weapons, but because you have him, you can do this. Not because you just have another wide receiver that's good. that's not the answer I'm looking for.
Yes.
I want it to be different. You change. You can do this because you have this guy. Well, then I'd be willing to maybe take that pick and move it around. Fascinating question because it could happen now. That's a more likely one. Penei Sewell, no. Kyle Pitts, unlikely.
No.
Devontae Smith, nah. 15, 16, could he slip all the way down there? Don't rule that out right now. Let's get to South Beach Gary real quick before we take a break. What's happening, man, here on a Wednesday?
Hey, Austin, Brent. Hey, Brent, remember when you were talking fantasy baseball in the first hour? You guys remember it was only as little as back as 2015 when Tony Romo wanted to hold a fantasy football convention in Vegas, and the NFL just went crazy. You can't do that in Vegas, the integrity of the game and all that. Fast forward 6 years later, guys, they not only have a team in Las Vegas, but they partnered with 2 gambling sites. Funny how when they found a way to make revenue out of it, all of a sudden it wasn't such a big deal, the gambling angle.
Well, South Beach Gary, it's a really good thought, and I'm going to piggyback what you just said with something I saw on Twitter. I think it was Amy Trask, who was with the NFL, I was with the Raiders, Al Davis, all that, and she said something to the effect of, like, when maybe it was 2012 or whatever year it was, and they put something on their Oakland Raiders website, fantasy football related, and the NFL called and said, take it down.
Really?
And so how the times have changed. I read something else this week. I think it was about the NBA.
Yeah.
That they said, maybe it was Barkley or something else. But basically they said gambling around the NBA and the dollars that will be infused to it could make TV deals a moot point. Think about it right now. In our world, in the landscape of sports, TV deals almost engineer professional sports, right? And even collegiate sports to a degree.
Yeah.
The gambling and the acceptance and widely accepted nature of that and the dollars that get put into that could just make the TV deals, who cares? Think about it. I mean, that is wild, as big as these TV deals are. So, South Beach Gary, not wrong. I mean, what a long way we've come in that realm. And I've always said it. Fantasy football and gambling have been just as big a part of the engine that has made the NFL what it is as many other facets. But they are right there in the conversation, no doubt about it. We take a break. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Huge event coming up Saturday. Haven't talked much about. Austin does that when we come back on ESPN 690.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
The biggest difference between the athletes of today and the athlete of Shaquille O'Neal's generation is Twitter. And with Twitter in particular, social media in general, but with Twitter in particular, the generation of athletes who grew up in that consider it to be important enough that they do not ignore it. They hear it, they live it, they respond to it, they internalize it. It matters to them.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Former Washington football tight end and 7-year NFL veteran Jordan Reed said he's retiring from the game because of lingering issues that he has from multiple concussions that he suffered throughout his career. And also in the NFL, despite having what he would consider an off year, the Pittsburgh Steelers have given Mike Tomlin a 3-year extension. According to Stephen A. Smith, he deserved it.
You look around the National Football League and there's a whole bunch of coaches with far more suspect resumes that have jobs in the NFL. So when I look at it from that perspective, I don't want to hear about Mike Tomlin, being under pressure any more than, what he's normally under. You need to win when you're in Pittsburgh. You need to be a respectable team. There are elements that he can address, but in the end, there is no question. The record speaks for itself. 145, 78, and 1.
Sports Center Update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hi, I'm here reporting from one of the vaccine locations, and we're asking people today why they decided to get vaccinated. Ma'am, why are you getting the vaccine?
Why am I getting the vaccine? So that I can go back to church.
The COVID vaccine is a safe and proven way to get our lives back to normal. This is why the Florida Division of Emergency Management partnered with local community leaders to create vax904.com. Visit vax904.com or call 357-0892 to get more information.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
Where else can you get luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials? Only one place, at Culhane's Irish Pub at Atlantic Beach and on the south side. It's as Irish as you can get, owned by 4 Irish sisters. And they've got fish and chips, of course, shepherd's pie. Go today for lunch or dinner. Eat in, order out. Culhane'sIrishPub.com for the full menu. And try the new 5 Sisters vodka at happy hour. Luncheon, brunchin', boozin' specials, and so much more. 2 locations, Atlantic Beach and the south side. Culhane's Irish Pub, Irish sass with 5-star class.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
We should always be looking at our finances, but 2020 made my family take an even closer look, a bit more of a deeper dive, and it might have done the same for you, even into the world of retirement. Although that's a bit down the road for me, it might be closer for you, and your plan should already be under a microscope, and you have to lean on the experts to help guide the right plan. My friend Mike Lester with Talon Wealth Management is the perfect partner. He will provide a complimentary analysis and a plan for you. Call him at 904-515-5000 or visit guardingyournestegg.com. That's 904-515-5000 or guardingyournestegg.com. Mike will give you the guidance you need as retirement gets closer. He can help you convert company plans to private plans, a move that might give you higher returns and more options. You've earned the money. Now make sure you are ready for whenever retirement will be. Call Mike Lester at Talon Wealth Management, 904-515-5000. That's 904-515-5000. Or visit guardingyournestegg.com. There is a taste of the islands in every drop of Vida de Luis tequila, imported directly from Tequila, Mexico to Jacksonville Beach. Vida de Luis is the only locally owned tequila in Jax Beach. Support local and try Vida de Luis. Award-winning, smooth, all natural, no aldehydes or additives, which means wake up feeling good the next morning. Find out where you can pick up a bottle of Vida de Luis, Blanco, Reposado, or Añejo. Just visit VitaDeLuis.com. Support local and taste the islands in every drop. Smoothie King is blending goodness to fuel your greatness. They make sure every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses whole fruits and only organic veggies. You'll never find any sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the smoothies. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of the blends. Skip the line and place your order online now at SmoothieKing.com for contactless pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
You've been wanting a new ride, right? But you can't find what you're looking for? Well, check out my friends over at Arlington Toyota. They have over 400 pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs to choose from. Worried about your credit? Well, don't be, because with Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, Arlington's getting almost everyone approved. And when it comes to total peace of mind, Arlington's got you covered with their 30-day exchange policy. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hello, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury.
Rule number 8, demand the best service. You're entitled to it. Rubenstein Law cares about you. Our team is dedicated to providing the best legal experience during this difficult period. Cases do take time to get you the result you deserve, but we work diligently on those cases. Keep in touch with you and return your phone calls as quickly as possible. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL. Offices in Jacksonville and throughout Florida.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
The reason I wanted to have this fight is because I wasn't truly satisfied that first one. I took the fight on 6 days' notice, actually less than that, and cut all the way, flew all the way up to the other side of the world with a broken nose, and still fought this man and dominated this man. And but I wasn't satisfied with the way that I dominated.
I assume that was Kamaru Usman there, Casey? Yep, Kamaru Usman. The UFC champion at 170 pounds. It's going to be the main event card here in Jacksonville in the rematch with Jorge Masvidal. If you've watched any of the lead up to this fight, any of the promotion, if you watch the video of Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal in Miami, kind of going back and forth at Radio Row for the Super Bowl, you'll see Brent Martineau on his cell phone in the background. And then you'll see, if you look very carefully, you'll see a bummed out Austin Lane in the background as well. But we've told that story before. No need to go down that road again. It's only going to make me upset. And we've had a fantastic show today. But all eyes will be on Jacksonville this Saturday. You know, this UFC card coming up here, it's a banger, as the kids say. It's going to be a great one. And Dana White, listen, we had Dana White on, man, it seems almost like a year ago now, but it's probably a little before that. But we had Dana White on, and it was one of the very first questions I asked him. You know, and obviously Jacksonville really did him a favor because at the time last year, the landscape with COVID-19, there was nothing happening. Fights were hard to come by. Any sporting event was hard to come by. And Jacksonville was kind of the trendsetter of getting mixed martial arts back on the scene. And, you know, they were really the pioneers of getting the UFC back, getting the fighters back in the cage, and doing the dang thing. Now, obviously, that was met with some kind of criticisms, but let's be honest. When we talk about Dana White, he does not care about your opinions. All right? He does things his way, good, bad, or indifferent, and he marches to the beat of his own drum. And that's what a successful, you know, probably millionaire, maybe billionaire businessman does. And I think that in terms of running a sports organization, Dana White, for the most part, has done a fantastic job. Now, yeah, you can make, you know, fighter pay and all this type of stuff. But I'm just saying, keeping stuff going through the pandemic, no one's done a better job at that than Dana White. All right, I think other professional franchises, name the sport, have actually, you know, talked to Dana White and asked him, like, hey, how'd you guys do this? How'd you do this? How'd you able to come back so soon? Like, the UFC and mixed martial arts is kind of at the forefront. Far before boxing, all right, far before any sport, there was the UFC. So it's cool that now they're about to make it right and come back to Jacksonville. And like I said here, for UFC 261, this card is a barn burner. And we're going to break it down more through the week. We'll have Dana White on the show actually tomorrow. So we're going to talk to him. It should be exciting to kind of, you know, catch back up with him after essentially a year since he was here last time. So we're going to catch up with Dana White a little bit. But we'll be breaking this card Thursday and Friday as well. But the big question that I can't wait to ask Dana White, and like I said, this guy marched to the beat of his own drum. But this card, in my opinion, a lot of things had to come into place and probably make some people mad to make this card happen for Jacksonville. And the biggest thing I'm talking about is the main event. Jorge Masvidal, Kamaru Usman. Now, keep in mind, the UFC, they're in contract with ESPN. ESPN want to do The Ultimate Fighter. By my understanding, The Ultimate Fighter, by the way, it's like a reality TV show. By my understanding, it was supposed to be Jorge Masvidal and Kamaru Usman on The Ultimate Fighter because they're polarizing figures. Jorge Masvidal is the household name. Kamaru Usman's the champion. It was going to be ratings gold. Somebody said something and said, get them off the TV show. Let's put them in Jacksonville. That somebody had to be Dana White. And I can't wait to ask him about that question tomorrow. It should be a great one. For Brett Martineau, who's on the road right now. For Casey pushing all the right buttons. Casey Kasem. I'll find a better nickname, man. Don't worry about it. And I'm Austin Lane. Y'all have a great night. Y'all stay safe. Stay casual. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first